Yeah, it's just I've never done that before in OBS. Bang, are we live? No current live streams. Why? Let me make sure I'm not live on my stream. I haven't. I updated it. Nope. Oh, bang! Dive. We were freaking out for no reason. Great. Awesome. We are in. Should see it now. Cool. Now, if I go to YouTube, this should be the link. Yes. That is the link. I'm on the top one. Okay. Yes. So you can I mute and turn off my camera and everything. No. I mute like the microphone thing in vMix. Yes. No. This is literally just for us. They're pulling in our entire stream thing. When they're on the main broadcast, they go, let's check in on B stream. Yeah, they're literally just pulling up our stream. Yes. Today we have challengers. Today we have luxury exotics versus also have 6F versus. Wait, you can hear our mics on the stream? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I'm so glad that we don't have to intro this like an actual broadcast, because this is a watch party. It's a watch party. I don't even care if I talk over you right now. It's fantastic. Either way, though, we are very much professionals. This is a new thing that we are doing. We are super stoked that we are here. We are an important note there, an official watch party for Call of Duty Challengers Elite. We're coming in here with Series 3. We're going to be watching some of these B streams. You might be asking, how did some of this come about? Basically, Enigma and I were watching the B stream one day and said, why isn't this casted? So we got the Twitter fingers to work, sent a little bit of emails, and now here we are, and it's pretty fun. We got some fantastic things happening here today, but buddy, I want to hear your opinions on really just challengers in general. What are we hyped for today? What are you hoping to see throughout some of the matches going on here today? What are your expectations as we are going to be here? We're going to be covering North America. We're going to be covering EU, just wherever it sees fit to us. What are you most excited for, brother?
I mean, of course, we won't get the opportunity to do EU today, just NA. So looking forward to seeing how things happen over the other side of the pond. I myself have been involved in a lot of challenges over the years. I'm fortunate enough to say I got an opportunity to do Elite earlier on through the year as well, to covering it over for the fantastic Chris Tunn. But yeah, I mean, obviously, what we are looking at here with North American Elite is an extremely competitive space. The talent runs very deep here. So these matches could be bangers. Even when we start talking about who should be favorites, who shouldn't be, we're often going to be splitting things by small fractions. So yeah, I think we're going for some great games. Obviously, starting off with Vegas Falcons Academy and Luxury Exotics. I think we've got two teams here with different reasons why they should and shouldn't win it, and that means that we get a fantastic time here. But again, yeah, you're right. This is a watch party. We don't have to be super professional. I'm kind of used to like having to sit here and be a certain way on camera. We can kind of do it our way. We can have a lot of fun with this. We can do community things. We can chat to chat. We can do all sorts of cool little bits. So really looking forward to it and seeing what we get away with. I think is the important thing up here on stage. Might get an email back at some point, be like, all right, guys, knock it off, but we'll figure it out.
No, we'll be fine.
But I think, you know, having watched competitive Call of Duty since Black Ops 2, having cast it since Cold War, it is always an absolute pleasure to get to do challengers. So the second we got confirmed green light to go on this, baby, I've been super excited. So it's just amazing to be here.
Well, it's also too, we've seen a lot of stuff on the timeline about challengers. Apparently, according to some people, challengers is dog water and deserves no opportunity in the big show, as we'll call it. Yeah, cough, as we'll call it. No opportunity in the big show. But I feel like what's most important is that you and I, we both know the amount of talent that is down here. Being able to watch challengers is always like a really, really, really fun time to be able to lock on in. So, by the way, this is our first week doing this. We just got told literally yesterday we can, so we kind of threw together this entire broadcast. So week over week, we're going to be trying our best to make sure that we can add in new fun things, like keep this engaging, and it's not just us watching the games that are going on there. We do want to give a huge shout out, though, of course, to some of the folks over there at Esports Engine / Activision for allowing us to do this, giving us a feed of these B streams that are there. So that's pretty cool. We get the direct in-game gameplay feed that we're able to cast off of, and that's kind of the unique thing that we're bringing to you here today. This isn't just Enigma and I kicking our feet up and just watching games. Like, no, we are here. We are ready to cast. We are both professional casters, mainly from Warzone, but we both have a love and a dying, bleeding heart for multiplayer as well. So it's going to be really fun to be able to kind of be here while we're in the game. It is going to be locked in. Let's go. Professional casting. Sir. And then outside of it, that's where we get to kind of just chill and relax a little bit. So I would not be remiss, though, if I didn't say, please subscribe to this channel. If you're astute, you might realize that this is a channel that will eventually be used for something else.
Multiple things. Hopefully. Yeah, we were kind of cooking it up for a while, the idea of pulling together something that might go by the name of the Quick Fix podcast. But now we've kind of also got this idea of, you know, not only could this be the podcast, but then it could also be the place where we do all this community work for the Challengers Watch Party. So very excited to see how it goes. I see Ebates in chat as well. How are you doing, handsome? Hope you are having a wonderful evening. But as Dan just said, if you're going to drop in regularly for sure, then please do subscribe, because it's going to help us get a bunch of the features that will then allow us to have a lot more fun here on this stream. It is all produced on our end, and by our, I mean Dan's end, because he's doing all of that. So, you know, we back and forth it a little bit, and Dan was like, oh no, I can do it. And I was like, you know what? You feel free, my friend. You absolutely handled that side of things. So yeah, I mean, a massive round of applause for Dan for pulling all this together, because we did find out, how long ago was it? Like
a little over 24 hours. Yeah, 48.
So maybe let's go in the middle. Let's go 36 hours ago. We found out, and we were like, All right, we have nothing. So we went and got like all sorts of stuff together. Shout out Roosevelt, incredible artist in the COD community who pulled together some of the graphics for us. But yeah, I mean, we are here to not only like, again, talk about COD and cast over things. We really do want to like show, you know, how much we love to cast and cast over some multiplayer. We're going to enjoy all of that and take it, you know, relatively seriously. But in between, we do get to chat. We do get to do a couple things that me and Dan try sometimes on the official Call of Duty channel. And sometimes we get told that we shouldn't. So, you know, we can do that here. It's going to be fun.
No, we can. It's going to be a really good time. Like we mentioned, we got two great matchups coming your way here today. First of all, let's talk a little bit about them because I think we are a little bit away. We were supposed to be going live at 6:30, but as Challengers goes, things change last second. So we got some time shifted on up. So I think we're about to hop in roughly the next 10 minutes into our first game. So I think let's hype up this first match a little bit, because that way, if we do drop on in, then we've done our job. If we don't manage to do that, then if we got a little bit of time to burn, then you and I are great at talking to each other about Call of Duty live. So let's talk about this first matchup here. Luxury Exotics versus the Falcons Academy. I think this is going to be a really, really fun matchup. There's some household names that are going to be in this lobby flying around. Let's kick it off with the Vegas Falcons Academy. Okay, we obviously know that this roster has kind of been the one that people have been looking at, because there was some contentment around, of course, that CDL team that was up there, and basically people saying, hey, scrap the Saudi project, bring these players down into Challengers, let them form some of those skills. But some of these players have been here. They've kind of been making some work in Challengers. Mainly QK is what we're going to call him here. That's kind of what everybody is. Has kind of been making a name for himself. And obviously here in Series 3, this is an opportunity to continue to do that. We've seen a couple of players make their way up and down this roster. Obviously, the only confirmed is Pred on that main roster that's moving on over. But we know we have potentially Arcides is coming on in, and maybe a couple others. So still some room, though, for some of these players to maybe make their shot in the CDL based on how they play in this series here today.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the Elite is. It's exactly what it should be. It's that pathway from amateur to pro. And especially when we start looking at the back end of the year, so this being the final Elite series, this is one of those moments where it can really define your season. Not just because you end up in this situation where, okay, you do really well at the back end of the year, and people might be thinking, oh, well, why would we pick? No, quite often, players that do really well at the back end of one year get picked up for the start of the previous year. So this is one of those moments where teams start to forge together. And you may still get a couple of pickups happen through the year. Yeah, we still got quite a bit of Call of Duty to go up at the pro level, but it is also an opportunity to kind of like stake your claim for anything that happens during the summer when we start talking about the next title, etc., the way it works in Call of Duty. And for a couple of players here, I mean, you mentioned him there, QK. He is a player that, I mean, you get mentioned on the flank. Usually that is for good reason. You end up, you know, these, you know, Parasite, Aches, Ben, Zuma, those guys cast your name out there into the wilderness, and usually it's because they have a reason to do that. So we've definitely got our eyes on him right now. Obviously, the rest of that line, King of Booty, Roxas, and Asim. I mean, Asim, legendary competitor, and I like the pick up there to go alongside the Saudi players. As you said, it is a project, and I'm a big fan of it. I massively respect it. This team coming out of the MENA region. It is, you know, these three players, along with a bunch of the others that have cycled through this Falcons lineup and into the pro team at the top as well in the CDL. These guys have won pretty much everything over in the Saudi region. They have a pro league over there. They have majors over there, and they won pretty much everything. But then they came over to Europe, and it was a case of, okay, how can you develop that talent? They did well in Europe. They got better. You could see them steadily improve until they started to win things towards the back end of the year. And then, okay, well, you come on over, and it was just a big jump. It was too big a jump in, you know, coming on over for some of the players going up straight into the pro league. So I think that the call to like get a couple of them into NA challenges and see how they do, I like it. And they even won Cup 7 not long ago. This foursome, this roster won Cup 7. So there's clearly plenty here. And I think when you line up with a legendary competitor, a player who's been around for so long, understands the space and the game so well in Asim, I think you've got yourself a really tasty roster.
No, I think this is a really fun thing to talk about. Obviously, Asim has kind of been a little bit flip-floppy back and forth. Either is the greatest player on the map or is coming on in, and you're just like, what are we watching? Like, what is this going on? So I love to see Asim down here in Challengers, teaming up with an org like the Falcons, obviously coming on in and trying to help this Academy roster. I'm always love it. I love the expansions that come on through. Should be feeling pretty solid here today. But let's talk a little bit about Luxury Exotics. Their opponents, of course, is the team comprised of Trakes, Hamza, how do I say it?
Neum and Rispy.
And Rispy, crispy without the K. Neum and Rispy. Okay, obviously Hamza has been around for a while. Trakes' name definitely is very familiar as well. Coming on in, came second in cup number 7, actually. And that's why, because he plays for Mary Hill University over there on the College COD side.
Yes,
that is
sir.
why that is ringing a bell to me. But obviously Hamza there. Neum and Rispy, though, I think 2 names that you and I are kind of keeping our eye out for because we're not super familiar with them. But I feel like this will be really cool to watch this team kind of come together and see how they play.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Neum and Rispy, they are unknown quantities. They're players that have managed to get into the elite. I mean, Rispy has managed to get into both elites, finishing top 10 and top 12 so far in those elites. So there's clearly plenty there to talk about this player. It's interesting because I feel like, you know, back in Cold War and Vanguard, I did a lot of challengers, knew anything about everything. And then you literally step away for a second, come back, and you're like, who the hell are half of these players? So you end up in this situation where, you know, I did a lot of research around Rispy, and, you know, it seems like a player that has one of those up and comers. And one of the things I will say for both players in particular, they both were in stage 2 elite and they both played really well in search and destroy. So I think for this team, I think your win condition is largely around making sure you see out those searches, don't get upset there. What you end up with is Major Maniac comes out, Rispy comes in. So, you know, this is after the top 24 at Dallas. So, I mean, it's a squad that very much so puts themselves on I feel like they have a floor where the Falcons could run over them a little bit potentially, but they also have a ceiling where they could do the flip opposite if required. I think for Hamza and Trakes, there's actually a bit of an interesting story in this first series. Of course, this won't be the first time that these guys have played each other since Cup 7, but Trakes and Hamza, they were in that Cup 7 final and lost to the Falcons Academy. So there's something, you know, a little bit of extra spice. They're always one of those moments where it's like, okay, I can, you know, trying to outdo each other. It's always interesting for me though, to see Hamza in the situation that he's in, because I always think back to like Westar Hamza, who was playing back in Cold War, won, like, I think they did like a 7P, won 7 events in a row or something stupid.
Yeah, it was
and
crazy.
That's the Hamza who I always think of, and that's the guy where I'm like, I don't know how this guy hasn't seen up into the league yet, and I'd love to see him get onto that sort of form again, back to that kind of level and get the opportunity. It truly is a wonderful player and a top gent as well. The guy was always a delight to deal with.
Yeah, no, that's what we love to hear. It's like kind of great. I kind of forget Hamza was on that Westar roster, and that, yeah, absolutely insane that team really was. Coming on in. So this will be really fun. I think this is going to be, obviously there's not like anything super at stake here today. This is the first day of group stages, right? But being able to come on out, have a starting record of 1-0 makes you feel pretty good, right? You're coming on in here, you get a solid idea of how do we feel about moving forward into the rest of this stage, and you get at least a little bit of an idea of how your team is going to fare. So yes, maybe at the end of the day, if you lose this first series, it's nothing crazy. At least kind of marching your way towards that first seed is going to be better. Obviously with the group stages, I think you all know how group stages work. Usually you have different players are good, different teams are going to play each other based on what group they're put in, and then depending on your record, you'll be able to make it out, and all that fun jazz that's going on. So definitely want to be able to win this. Not super imperative though. If you do lose, you just kind of put a little bit more pressure on yourself for your upcoming matches. And I think that if you are either of these teams, you would love to be able to win this first one just to kind of alleviate some of that pressure, especially if you are a team, I feel like the Falcons Academy.
Yeah, I think this will be, you know, answering a couple of questions. First things first, obviously, when we start talking about potential tiebreaker situations, close series like this, seeing it out and staying it out in style will often be the difference between a good seed for playoffs and sometimes not getting to playoffs, depending on how the rest of your stage goes. So, sorry, series. So it ends up, you know, it could be a really important one. Also setting a marker, right? Just saying like who you are you ready? I think for the Falcons Academy, you get top 12 at Dallas. Not the result they want, of course, but it's not bad either. I mean, you end up losing to the Royal Spartans and YFP, two really good teams. So I think that, you know, this is an opportunity for them to continue to build on that momentum, because even though you won Cup 7, it's not been fantastic since, it's been a little bit shaky. So this is an opportunity for them to continue to grow, build that chemistry, and move forward. I think for Luxury Exotics, Major Maniac goes out, Rispy comes in after your top 24 at Dallas. You're disappointed with Dallas. You make a roster change. I think it's a big question of like, did that roster change work? Or, you know, has it taken you forward or backwards? Obviously, you get to qualify in for the elite, so you're hoping forward right now, because that automatically should put you top 12 in North America, theoretically. But it's also a case of, well, how much did that do? Rispy has been in both elites, but been dumped out before getting to the playoff stages. So for Rispy as well, it's a case of, can you make it that next step and get yourself into the top 8?
No, that's kind of the storylines we love to see, right? Who's being able to come on in, who's trying to make a name for themselves. It's always what we love with challengers, is these players who are able to come on through and really actually like start feeling great start making a name and impressing the scene, right? That's what we always kind of hear. It's always who's looking good, who is kind of making some of these roster moves coming on in. That's looking great. So I think we are getting ready to head into game here shortly. But let's just take an opportunity real quick. Let's take a look at a little bit, mainly just because I want to make sure all of these scenes are working. That's really what we're about to do. Let's just go ahead. Let's take a look at. Take a look at some of the EU stuff that we have going on here. Okay, let me just do a little finagling. I like this. Great, because now I can actually still see if we go into a game and are there. But some of the things we have coming on out here today. We had a couple of maps go on through. I like this view. Shout out to Pit, by the way, for posting this this sheet that is here, because not only does it let us know the series count, but also kind of what maps were played and what were some of those scores that come on through as I'm looking. And we're getting already seeing some updates in real time that are going on through there. But it does look like we had a couple going on through here today. I want to talk about this Team Notorious versus Tug Esports. Obviously, Team Notorious, a really fantastic squad, made it pretty deep there in that Dallas Open. And that 250-92 Hacienda hardpoint, man, yikes.
Yeah, Team Notorious are a difference maker. The top team in over in EU. I think. Well, I don't know if they still hold that crown technically, because they did, underperform for what they were hoping in Dallas. I think it was top 6 in the end, if I remember correctly. But either way, they definitely fall short of where they would have liked to have been. Mission Magpies being the team that got through to finals, who are no longer called Mission Magpies, by the way. Mission Magpies of Dallas is now called Team Orchid, and then Mission Magpies picked up a different roster for the Elite, just to kind of keep you in the loop there, because
why are we like this?
Nothing makes sense for more than 5 minutes in this space. So yeah, I mean, Team Notorious, ridiculous squad. You've got Afro on there. That guy shouldn't be playing in challengers, quite frankly. I'm pretty sure he had the highest KD of literally everybody throughout the entirety of the last Elite. I will triple check that. Yeah, a 1.41, which is quite frankly insane. Guy absolutely frying, putting up ridiculous numbers, and has been for pretty much the entire year. So the fact that he ends up, a 1.3, it was a 1.41 in control. This sheet hadn't fully updated, but yeah, 1.3 overall, still ridiculously insane. First by a considerable distance, and he's just been having the time of his life in challenges. The fact that he's still here is a surprise, I'll be completely honest with you. So when you got a player like that stepping up against you, and you're this Tug Esports roster, you're an underdog. That is a tough first game to walk into. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, 250-92. I think that the Tug Esports roster got a quick reminder of how far they've got to go. I think that what you do see, though, because Team Notorious gets such an easy matchup there against Tug Esports 3-0, they then struggle a bit against P7 Esports, having to win it out in a game 5 in the end in their second matchup. So interesting to see a moment there where Team Notorious had to put their foot back on the gas after definitely not having to put it down at all in that first series, because Jesus Christ, that is a walkover.
Man, I love the Pit giving us these nice little graphics to make it look like
insane,
I know what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, I want to take a look at this Notorious, because yeah, I mean, you win a quick, easy 3-0 in that first one. I mean, it was literally 250-92. I think it was 6-2 on the dealership S&D and the 3-1 in the vault control that was there. I want to come back to the dealership S&D conversation, because that's something we haven't been able to talk about, along with Red Card.
Yes.
Now officially being into the mix. That's something we definitely want to be looking at here. But looking at this series that we saw from Team Notorious earlier on here today, definitely not as it feels like easy for them as we get ready to kind of just look at this. Team Notorious, they take the hard point, they take the search and destroy, goes all the way to game number 5. It goes to a 6-4 where they're able to lock it on in at the end. But it's that map 3 and map 4 that has me curious. Very, very close. P7 obviously looking pretty good if you're able to hold it to Team Notorious and push them all the way to a map 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is with this P7 roster, it's not a bad one. I'm pretty sure I actually got to cast over one recently. It is, if I remind myself,
Detain, Denza, BB Connor, and Disarray. That would explain it.
Yeah, it's a good roster. It feels like a team of players that, a little bit ago, you probably have them right at the very top. I think currently they fall into that like tier 2 of Elite in Europe at the minute. So
sure.
I mean, one of those moments as well, like that Hacienda to start things off. I think Denza was something like 2-15. Like I was doing the dishes, as you do, as an exciting life as I leave sometimes. and I was like, looked on over. I was listening to like Ton and Bryce cast over the series. map 1 Hacienda, and I had to like genuinely check if the scoreboard was okay, because it was like 2 and 14. Denzo was not having a great time there, so I think obviously he clearly warmed into the series and got things firing again. But it is 4 very good players, and Team Notorious are one of those teams. They're always going to have like, you know, a target on their back, a lot of pressure to kind of deal with, and with that sometimes comes the opportunity for upset. So P7 pushed them close. I think that will remind Team Notorious that they need to keep their foot on the gas without having inflicted too much damage. Whereas for P7, I think that's going to be a bit of like a, all right, well, if we hadn't started map 1 really badly, we could have taken this series. So plenty of confidence boosters right there.
Yep. No, I totally agree. Who else do we have play here today? You had Pulsar play P7 earlier on, and that one went to a map 4. I'm trying to see. That actually was our only one that went to a map 5. Every other game, we had 2 go to a map 3 and 1 go, or the rest going to a map 4 that is there as well. At least that's for Group A. What about Group B? Let's take a look over here. Okay, we had two different game number 5s that we saw coming on in. One being, is that Kinky? Is that how they're pronouncing their name?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go with Kinky. It also starts with a $, I think, like on Twitter. I think it is literally written as like $ Kinky.
Skunky, maybe?
Maybe, but like he's going with Kinky on this. Maybe the $, like, is that what they do for like Bitcoins and stuff? I don't know, but like
you sounded like such a boomer.
Oh, brother, like, yeah.
Is that what they do for the Bitcoins?
I am leaving that shit to the birds. I'm not gonna lie, like that is not for me. But yeah, I mean, sure, we're gonna go with Kinky. They get beat out by Katana and also Team Lin. So off to an 0-2 start right there. I'd say one of the things is as well that is a difficult group in my opinion. Like Katana, good squad, Jump Shot France aren't a bad team at all. Team Orchid, of course, being that mission, what was the Mission Magpies roster, Bance and Co. So yeah, for me, Group B, a really difficult group to get through. So I'm a little bit worried with Kinky starting 0-2. I think that team, you know, it's going to be tough. And sometimes when you come into the elite, I think you are just like trying to learn and improve and get better and see if, you know, you can stand up individually. And maybe that's what this ends up being. But it's early days. You never know.
It's early days. We'll have to wait in to see. I was just kind of looking at some of the maps that we saw go the distance and what really was kind of like walking on it. Nothing like super close here today. But is what I'm thinking of. It's a lot of like you either slammed the controls. Like, okay, we had one Hacienda control that go to round 5 with Annex versus Team Lin, which we actually caught a little bit of the end of that hopping on in here before our games going on tonight. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Wait, I've just realized who Team Lin is. So Kinky losing to them is going to be even worse. So Kinky is going to be Twiz, Nile, Fiberon, Ben W. Guys who have plenty of experience, European elite. Some of them to rather middling success as well. Nile, obviously a quite legendary competitor in European COD. Team Lin is Weaths, Jamal, Trunk, and I think it's Wyvern, but like I don't fully know. It's a French. Yeah, it's a French squad that kind of, you know, they kind of fall into like, maybe like the yeah, they're like fourth kind of best team over there in France. So, I mean, it's a team that if you're Kinky, you were expecting to beat for sure. So that is an upset right there that leaves them in a very difficult spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one you definitely probably think that you should have won. You probably would love to have that W on the board, at least go 1-1 here today, tie it on up, at least with some of the other teams that are going on in. I think that was probably your best case scenario, right? Be 1-1, you're then tied with Annex. Okay, feeling good. It's all good. Right, we can kind of play from there. But being 0-2 and the rest of the lobby is still 1-1, I think it's gonna be really, really tough. That's coming on in. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna come out over here because I do believe we are in a match, folks. Let's hop on in to the game as we are here. Falcons Academy versus Luxury Exotics. Anyway, you on the same page as I am?
Absolutely, my friend. We are ready to go. And well, Vegas Academy come out and beat the brakes off Luxury Exotics, immediately send them packing. So you not only end up with a good amount of the hill time here to start things off, but complete control of P2 side. Well, King Booty as well, he's got catwalk control, and immediately Luxury Exotics put in a difficult spot.
Going on through. P1 already getting some early points for the Falcons Academy, and I love this. King of Booty just wants to hold this top cat control. You managed to slide on out. Okay, Rispy. That is a huge kill to be able to get. Glow Frosty is there for the trade. Asim is not able to find that. So a little bit of a breakdown, but look at P2. You're already getting the spawns on in. If you're a luxury, sure, you feel pretty good. Maybe you get some of that scrap time from P1, but Falcons Academy already moving on forward, holding on in for this P2. Rox is playing outside the palm, so be able to find one. Gets cut down immediately, though. Asim pushing on forward. You find one, you find two. Can you find a third? No, but you've done what you need to do. King of Body in the hill. You'll be able to lock this one on down.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Trakes does really well there. Gets aggressive through palms immediately, finds the first kill, gets super up close on the hill, and that forces Asim to come on over. He does find the two-piece, which then gives the Vegas Academy an opportunity to restabilize, and those three dead in the feed should continue that. But Trakes nearly makes a massive play happen. But unfortunately for his team, Asim has no intention of letting this lead slip this early, and you will see this squad up by 50 as we start to look over towards P3.
Asim playing this like a pub, it feels like. You're just holding down this top cat area, and you're just not letting anybody get into your line of sight. So it's almost a full 60, I think, coming out of the P2. P3, nobody really set up for it, which is what has me a little bit interested. Trakes will be able to find QK. Asim falls down to the hands of Hamza. As you're playing out here towards this statue's side. Rispy holding down the water. Unfortunately for you, you get a little bit in the mix. Roxas makes his way towards the van. But Neum up here in the perch, going to try and stop the Falcons from being able to gain any ground here. Will do a solid job for now. Allow Rispy to push on forward.
Interesting moment there where you end up with Trakes actually spawning out of P3. I've got a theory about why that spawn works that way, and well, I think that confirmed it right there. We'll come back to it as Vegas Academy continue to punch in through the front. I think for Luxury Exotics, what you've got to start to pay attention to is whether or not Vegas Academy fly on forward, but also start to wrap through your middle. You have no mid control. You have no solo control. Vegas have a lot of gaps to potentially slip through, and here they come.
P3 to P4. We know how clutch this is. Neum up top. That's a huge kill to be able to nab. But look who's lurking down below. You're making this sort of read. QK, you got to be around here somewhere. Nobody's sitting in the point just yet. Want to make sure that you have a good idea where the rest of the squads are, but it's 3 members of the Falcons Academy will surge on forward. They enter on into the point. That's 3 dead for Luxury Exotics, and it's just Neum in the back here. And Asim has this idea that somebody's got to be lurking around. You're counting bodies. You're looking for the 4th person, and I don't know if you get one. Rox is not even aware. Where's the callouts?
It's just too easy right now for Vegas. I'm with you in terms of the call. I was not sure what happens, but I'm seeing Rispy 4 and 11. I'm seeing Hamza at 7 and 10. When you're struggling this much in the kill feed, it doesn't really matter what setups you try and execute. You're just getting bullied back over and over again. And Vegas will continue to hold as Roxas finds another 2. Finally shut down by Rispy. We're going to come to the end of the first rotation here. 100 points up for Vegas Academy. Luxury Exotics must start to draw a line in the sand. They must do it now. But the thing is, they've been bullied all the way back to P1 already.
Here we go. Second rotation flying on in. QK trying to make something happen. No, Rispy for a huge 2, though. We'll get answered back by Asim as Asim tries to answer with his own 2-piece. But it will get stopped here. Roxas going to be one of the ones surging on forward by himself. QK makes the read. So far for Falcons Academy, we're back here on P1. You're doing what you did on the first row. Can you manage to hold it on in? Now, here's the thing, Enigma. Last time around, it was P2. It was all Falcons Academy. They were able to find themselves in the perfect position when this P2 popped to be able to rotate on over. Will Luxury Exotics make that happen again?
Well, a wave of kills will go to Luxury Exotics. You do get 2 spawns in, though, for Vegas. They will spawn up in that northeastern side. So, Rispy here, a lot of work to do. And, well, QK will deal with him. 14 and 8 will get flipped in for P2. The worst case scenario for Luxury Exotics. And that's one of those moments. You get all the kills around P1, sure. But because you're so far forward, you're not backed off at all. It risks that flip. And that's exactly what Vegas get. It's a little bit lucky, but Luxury Exotics should have stacked the odds in their favor regardless. And leaving it to chance will roll the die against them. And they've now got a break yet again.
As the point pops, you just see them spawning on the complete opposite side of the map. But for now, you're getting blessed. King of Body, last one here for the Vegas Falcons. That's a huge pickup. Pistol in hand. Strider will put down Rispy. You've been able to save this point for the team. You're marching your way towards that 200-point mark. You make sure that you're gaining these ever crucial points. That was an opportunity for Luxury to get back on into this. When you got QK coming on over here in the triple snaps. Okay, Falcons, they're soaring a little different here today.
Yeah, QK doing things like that, and King of Booty is going to put himself on 4 in a row. Roxas nearly spins on Rispy. Oh my lord, it's all going the way of the Vegas Academy. Asim now trying to rotate on over towards P3. He's going to be surrounded. I was going to say, surely you don't win that. Tricks will clean him up. And this is one of those moments where, for Luxury Exotics, I'm going to come back to something later. We're going to talk about this P3 setup that they're getting very wrong, and I don't know how this late in the season we are getting this problem happen. For now, Vegas Academy in the perfect spot to chain P2 into P3.
Roxas trying to set up a little bit of that spawn trap. You find one, you don't manage to find the others, but you're going to get good info. 2 of them are pushing on out. That's going to let King of Body find one popping up here out of water. You almost bring down Rispy towards P1, but Roxas going to start sliding on out. You get some ideas that there's some players towards the street side. Obviously knew that Trakes was playing in towards that cut, and here's what we like to see. 20 seconds on that point. You're feeling pretty good about your setup. Rispy is going to be the one to surge on forward for this P4. Neum, he's been able to slide on forward. Don't manage to find QK, but what you do let is you get some information towards Trakes, but Trakes taken on out by King of Body.
Yeah, but he does get his teammates to spawn in and the Luxury Exotics to spawn out. So the work there done. Damage dealt. Asim will try to slide forward. Stun catches him perfectly. Rispy does enough. QK hoping to clean this up, but might actually not get the opportunity. Backed on downs. Rispy pulls something off there. He's had a really slow start to this one, but a 6 spree will let his team hold on to P4 for just a moment. King of Body trying to fight in through the back. Huge fight there. You also got to be paying attention to the front. You deal with all of that. Asim, he falls 4 dead in the feed. Opportunity for Luxury to try and hold something for once.
I mean, you still have a mountain to climb right now if you are Luxury Exotics, but hey, if you can push this another rotation and manage to hold this P3 to P4, you're gonna be feeling really good. Rispy slides on out, will get traded, but you've done the hard work. You've been able to find one. Neum in the point will stop this push in its track. A nade though from King of Body will be able to find Trakes on in. P1 about to pop here. As Luxury Exotics, a little bit of sign of life. You're still 100 points down, but hey, we know we got some money hills in this rotation. You play perfectly. You are definitely still back in this game. The question is, though, can you do that before the Vegas Academy are able to get another 25 points on the board?
Well, Trakes is going to continue to spring 2 together. Then, well, hopefully Luxury can get this a little bit closer. For now, though, you got to continue to pay attention to that P2 side. They have lost that flip out twice. Both rotations, Vegas have activated at the right moment or been blessed with a little bit of spawn. And as such, Luxury are way behind. But the problem is, because Vegas are so close, you must continue to send bodies at this P1, and you're losing the fights in the feed.
Some great shots coming on out. 24 points, it's all you need. You can't win it here at P1, but you can win it at P2, and you've been looking beautiful on this P1 to P2 rotation. King of Body will be able to find one, but he gets the call up. There's 2 surging on forward. Asim playing towards the back. Playing with your food a little bit. Rispy found a great nade on top of Trakes. You're just trying to sit here in the back. King of Booty will be able to bring down Trakes, keeping Asim alive. QK pushing your way through the middle, just trying to make sure that nobody gets past this line of scrimmage. And you are having a fantastic setup if you are the Vegas Academy right now. 3 dead in the feed. We're marching towards it. Enigma, the last few final moments. QK puts on a show and gets there. Vegas Academy, they're going to take game number 1, baby.
It was far simpler than we were expecting. I thought that we were going to come in here to a bit of a back and forth, a bit of a bloodbath across the board, but the only team pouring in blood are going to be Luxury Exotics, because that was as simple as you like for the Vegas Academy. Good God. I mean, I'm going to talk about a couple of different things there. I think that, you know, I mentioned that Rispy has been the guy who's been subbed into this Luxury Exotics team. He's been in the Elite twice this year. It's a case of, okay, well, you know, how much of a player are you? How much can you improve this squad? And then he started off really struggling. Did come online at some point, finishes 23 and 28, and it was a lot worse than that initially. So he finally started to find his feet, but it was a bit too late. What I got to say, how you managed to 3 times in a row have decent control over P1 and end up losing the flip out to P2 immediately, I don't really know. Potentially a case of oversending, over aggression, and not prioritizing having someone as anchor in that back spawn. And I think that that anchor conversation comes in even more so when we're looking at that P2 to P3. There's something that happens with the P3 spawns, and basically if you are pushed up like the left side, the main building, let's call it the vault building.
Sure.
If you are pushed up all the way like across it towards like the P3, P4, the art and P4 side, if you have if you're trying to control that and you have no one on the southern side of the map, the spawn actually prioritizes the other team. And that's been something that I've noticed for a bit. A couple of players have commented on it before, and it ends up being a situation where Vegas actually undo you twice just through getting blessed in by that. So there's something there for me with this team, this Luxury Exotic squad. You need an anchor. You need someone who's going to just prioritize sitting back, playing the correct rotations. We didn't see that at any point there. A lot more of that coming out of Vegas.
One thing that I really noticed that I enjoyed a lot, what does it seem like specifically on that P2, and why I loved calling it out so much, is they were so great is they would fight for it. Even if they managed to not get spawns, even if they were on the flip side, they were still able to make their way on in. They break it on open, and the second they break it, you just see all of the arrows flip, and they literally just cut this line across on the minimap, not allowing any opportunity for Luxury Exotics to get to the point where you start ripping players on off. We even had a moment they were basically, because of that happens, you have King of Booty on the point, and you do enough damage that King of Booty is able to come on through and is able to keep that point alive for the Vegas Falcons. So map number 1 going to them, feeling pretty solid along the lines. I know one thing that we wanted to look at, I didn't know if we got the opportunity to see, is what maps are we playing in this series? Because we kind of just loaded into a Vault Hardpoint, and I was like, I don't know what the rest of the maps are for this series, and I sure would like to know.
I mean, yeah, I don't actually have any idea. I'm just kind of like dropping messages over towards Ben because I'm getting sent like links to various other games that might be ongoing, but I'm not really 100% sure of the situation here and what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. So we've been told the 2 games that we're definitely allowed to do. So we'll just continue to focus them for now, sure, I guess, rather than, you know, potentially throw a spanner in the works when we've been handed a wonderful opportunity to do something really cool. But yeah, I mean, right now you have got Distro playing Omit Brooklyn, Spartans playing Five Fears, a bunch of other stuff going on as well. Cabal are going to be playing 6F Carolina. We will be looking at that 6F Carolina roster later on today because they will be playing against Five Fears. So yeah, I mean, be interesting to see how those 2 teams get on, Five Fears and 6F, because obviously we're covering them later, so it could tell us a couple of things. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see if there's anyone out there who actually has the maps. Let me see actually if Ben does have them. Wait. I've just had a thought actually. Could it be? No. I was curious about something. I was like, okay, wait, does this have it? But I don't think it does.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I saw us load into a game very briefly. I can at least tell you the next map, and that is Protocol Search and Destroy. I can tell you that much.
All right. Okay.
So,
all right. Decent S&D map, in my opinion.
No,
one where players can very easily get lost on the map. I feel like if you get overwhelmed very quickly off breaks, then it's a difficult map to play on. But generally speaking, I kind of like it. It plays around a lot of different strategies. Your SMGs will find good places to play out, especially if you start hitting the underground bomb. Whereas your ARs should be controlling a lot of your windows, your boat sides, etc. So I'm a big fan of it. Sorry, I'm just trying to find these maps off Ben for the Vegas v Luxury series. See if Ben can come back with some goodies. He might also have a link for us that we can kind of track in the future.
That'd be great.
But yeah, I mean, I did say that if Luxury Exotics are going to win this series, they need to make sure they take the S&Ds. You've got 2 players there in Neum and Rispy. Neum dropped to 1.05 in the Stage 2 Elite on S&D. Rispy dropped to 1.18. So, in particular, they're looking at Rispy. He started off map 1 slow, gets better in map throughout the map as it goes. It seems to finally turn the ignition on a little bit. So, hoping that he can then carry that into a good map 2 and get this team back on the board.
No, that's kind of what you love to see. Rispy started off not great. Comes alive, though, I think, through that 3rd rotation and had some great eliminations. But I think what I saw out of that sort of first map, though, sort of an MVP for me. It's going to be 2, which I don't think is surprising for anybody. But I think there are 2 players we really need to watch, especially on a map like Protocol in the Search and Destroy, which we're going towards. Number 1, it's QK. A couple of those triple snaps, that's just like a pure, like, this gun skill is insane moment, but it's also just lets you know that, like, obviously you put yourself in that position to be able to get eliminations like that. says a lot about your skill as a player. But it's also just your sort of your patience, your ability to play fundamentally, set yourself up in the best spot to get some of those kills. But it was also Asim. There's no surprise that we're talking about Asim being a superstar player, especially on this team. But there are a couple of those moments where he was really hitting a wrap. He was playing some cuts. He was making it hard for that opportunity for that luxury exotics team to really be able to grab any space on the map, right? And so when I look at a map like Protocol, it's surprisingly for a sub that's Jackal shoots far, as we all know. You kind of get shotgunned across the map with it. There's a lot of little ratty spots you can play on Protocol. I'll be curious to see how can Asim make that happen, but also QK with the names in hand. People love to play those windows. They love to play helicopter. You might not be able to hold the positions you want to when you got somebody like QK aiming at you down the sights.
No, yeah, you're right to call it QK. I think he's a player that we are paying attention to, right? Because of what we've spoken about how the flank have kind of turned our eyes towards him. Sometimes that can apply a lot of pressure that breaks you, but in QK's circumstances, it seems to be very much so making him. He's looking really good in map 1. Obviously, a long way to go in the elite, a lot to prove. It was interesting. I was kind of looking through his past history, and compared to a lot of his teammates, there's, I mean, yes, you've got obviously the Saudi stuff, but other than that, there isn't that much. So clearly, you know, so there's been a point there where a couple of folks over that side have said, actually, you know what, give this guy a go. He looks the real deal. It was all a part of some of the early stage stuff over in Europe when it came to early BO6. QK was indeed playing alongside Doom, King, and Wixel, but yeah, he has stepped into this Vegas Falcons Academy, and he's looking every single part the real deal. So it's, again, still very early days. You want to be doing a lot better than they have done, you know, when it comes to qualification. When it comes to getting deeper into the elite. Top 12 in Dallas is nice, but you want more than that. If you want to prove that you're going to be a part of that main setup up in the league, and especially when the conversation, I guess the conversation becomes a tough one now, because we were kind of sitting there for a long time looking at Vegas and being like, well, they're just going to keep picking up the Saudi talent. Yeah. But they've changed their minds there with a mega move for none other than Pred. So it's currently you're, if you're the Saudi talent, you're looking up and going, huh, that's going to be quite difficult to break into. Yeah, no, that's going to be rough. I actually wanted to see, I panned away from it real quick because I'm trying to really make sure we're not leaking any lobby codes or anything, but I at least wanted to be able to pull up the stats because we didn't even get a chance to even look at the stats from that. And I also want to use this new little shenaniganry that we have. So let's go ahead. Let's pull it on up. You can see our stats that we got coming on in here. So we have QK 25 and 19, King of Booty 29 and 19, Asim 27-22, and Roxas 25-26. By the way, I can't see if the game has started, so please let me know if the game has started while we're going. I can keep the VMix stuff open for now on one screen, and then put this on the other. So I'll keep an eye on VMix. But yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, very impressive across the board, right? Obviously, Roxas is going to be one neg there, but the rest of your team are absolutely frying out, so I don't really read too much into that. Sometimes it's just less kills on the board for you. But we saw, you know, King Gaboody had a couple of pop-off moments, 2-3 pieces, if I remember correctly. We are going into the Search and Destroy. We are actually starting the Search and Destroy right now. Okay. Not wasting any time there, so we are good to go. All right, well, we'll wait to come on into this later, but here we go. All right. Let's hop on in, ladies and gentlemen, to the gameplay. It's round number 1, Protocol, Search and Destroy. It's already Neum. He's going to be able to find QK. Neum finds 2, QK and Asim, 2 players we just hyped on up. A huge pickup. Puts Roxas, King of Body, and the 2v3. Roxas looking down towards Spiral. Do you get the confirmation? You do. A little bit of a hop over. You throw a shoulder. Trakes. Early shots coming on out, but bomb is planted. You got to play this together. Trakes finds one. Roxas there for the trade. And for right now, you're just playing on this top side, but I don't think Luxury Esports is going to give you the opportunity to try and piece them up in the 1v1. I mean, Roxas reposition is a good one. You win the fight against Rispy, you just no time, unfortunately. The fact that this even gets close is concerning, in my opinion, but yet Neum then, the player who survives, does a fantastic job of finding the 2 first bloods. That's out by tower side, using that AR to lock down boat lane. And does a great job of finding not just 1, but 2 players there, and that's always going to make your life a lot easier, especially when they get control of the bomb site down low as well. Very difficult spot typically to retake. So They end up making it a little bit interesting for us by going down to just one player. But looks like Exotic's off to a great start. Roxas will stay alive as well, and he's on a 3 streak, so a player to keep an eye on when it comes to a potential RC.
I think it was a good call, right? You're on that 3 streak. You can either try and play for it, or you say, let me go ahead. Let me back on up here. Let me keep this alive in case I can get a little bit more. Trakes with some quick plays through the middle, but the trades will come on in. It's going to put Vegas Academy in the man advantage. 3v2 right now. Rispy trying to hold on to this back heli side. Cuts you on down, and it's Neum in a 1v3. Aims in hand. And I think, yeah, you maybe start thinking about just bringing this bomb site A, or you can kind of work this B side. But Neum is literally laying in a bush right now, trying to do his best to maybe get some sort of crazy timing.
Well, it was working for a moment there because Roxas was shouldering from helicopter and did not see him. So, Liam going to try and flip the map here, but it is spotted out by QK, who deals a hammer blow. So Vegas Academy going up by 1. Different strategy as well on the rollout. You end up with the first blood actually coming in from Roxas, who kills Hamza top trips, but he does it from barrel. Decides not to engage from grandmas, and has that angle from barrels instead, and does a great job of just ripping Hamza away from there. So that then gives numbers advantage in and around P1. It just allows them to punch on through the heli side. So again, it's all early stages of S&D. It's just all about what kind of plays do you read, what kind of adjustments do you make off the back of it. And keep an eye on Roxas, who is currently 4-0, and needs just one more for the RCXD.
Yeah, one thing we talk about a lot is your ability to be adaptable in search and destroy. So making some of these early reads, Roxas will be able to hit a nice little sky nade, gets confirmation there, so you weaken up a player, and even though you're not able to convert off of it, it still gives you an idea that in future rounds, somebody might be playing in that area. Roxas would love to be able to find one right now. Ooh, he throws the shoulder. You saw Trakes. What is the trigger discipline coming on in? Couple of trades coming in outside of the other map. Still keeps it into a 3v3. Asim has found himself down here towards the computers, locking down a bomb. And if you are Luxury Esports, it's what's the game plan right now?
Honestly, I don't really mind the patience trying to find a pick. Trying to force something is always worst case scenario, but in turn, Vegas Academy taking their sweet time about things as well. Asim watching the bottom, gonna get pushed, hit by a lot of damage, but manages to stay alive importantly. So that'll give you 3 players to try and retake here. So once this bomb goes down, and well, Hamza will give up a freebie to QK. This is gonna give you numbers advantage too. You can just surround this point and collapse.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You push on forward. Bomb is here. Asim, he's going to hop the bomb. Why not? It's a 3v2. You got some of your members down on in. Luxury Exotics kind of choked this one away. They had it there. You get the 2-man push on out. You don't take down Asim coming in from drop. I feel like that's a little bit of a mistake. You got to swing that together. You got to start making those shots on earlier. That's a huge kill if you can bring down Asim in that moment that's there. Rispy tries to make something happen, but QK just playing alongside the teammates, not pushing it on forward. So a great job for the Vegas Falcons to be able to hold on in, go up 2-1.
I think that's a perfect example of exactly the kind of plays that we're looking for there. Asim with the very heads up veteran play, stays alive, gives his team the fight, and QK rips Hamza at an important moment off of that top desk. So 2 big plays coming on through from 2 players that we've got eyes on. Vegas Academy go up to 1 retake.
Asim brings out the aims. Hits some great shots down there at the bottom. Goes ahead. Will be able to come on out. Roxas, early shots towards the stairs. Playing your life, staying alive right now. Vegas Academy doing a fantastic job getting some of these early fights. Backing on up here. QK, though, he's going to go ahead. A little bit of a stun check. You know Trakes is playing drop right now. You don't have to fly in on top of him. So Vegas Academy just kind of getting some info on the map. A little bit split now here in a 2-2 setup. You can see number 2, Neum, playing on out there towards that heli side. But King of Body, you move on in, you find Glowfrosty. Wait, you're looking at this spiral. You find one, you don't manage to get the second, but the teammates are there for the trade. And it's actually also a team kill that comes on in. You would have been in a 2v3. It would have felt pretty good, but you leave Neum in the 1v3. They know you're coming. Spiral, they rip you apart.
I mean, the fact that you get so far forward, gain so much map presence, basically get across the entirety of the map, control pretty much all of the landmarks, and are uncontested in that. So many gaps in the Luxury Exotic setup there that the Vegas Academy take full advantage of. I'm not really sure how you end up with situations where two players get in through the back of trips and are not at any point called out to the player that's up top.
Yeah, it kind of seems like maybe a little bit of a breakdown in communication on that round. 3-1 Vegas Academy. They've kind of run away with this 3 straight rounds in a row since that first round did go to Luxury Exotics. And, well, it's a bang out here at A as trades come on through. That leaves Vegas Academy in the 3v2. King of Body first to drop, but not too big of a deal. Nade going out from Roxas, and ooh, look at this. Off of the spiral, drops the RCXD on top of the head of Trakes. You slide on in. Hamza trying to be able to throw a shoulder here. You chow this together, but it doesn't matter when you got Roxas and the seam sliding in from the back. A little bit of a big brain play with the RC car, but it's the teammates sliding on in. You gain all the attention. They're not even looking at their back.
Feels like one of those moments where Luxury Exotics, they've tried to take all of the strategy out of it. We're just going to hit this one site. But the problem with that is if you lose the first fight, which they do, and you end up in a situation where you're outnumbered, this lower bomb site can become a bit of a coffin once those numbers surround you and collapse on in. You get a RCXD sent straight through spiral, which backs you off. Makes you weak, you stay alive just about, but also puts you in a situation where you're not really able to cover what it is that you wanted to beforehand. QK now also has an RC. This is starting to look a little bit too much for Luxury Exotics. Vegas Academy coming out real hot here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just some great timing as a team to make that happen. And, well, Neum, he tries to maybe make a little bit of a chow onto the outside, but the trades are coming in. King of Body will be able to slide on forward. Finds one. You know exactly where this player is. Ring around the Rosie. Trakes is found. Do you find the last one? No. Hamza and the 1v1 as it is just a flurry of blows back and forth. Roxas, did you see the jump up? Did you see him there? You did. Hamza has no idea you're playing this side. 5-1 Vegas Academy making you pay.
I mean, I don't think many people would believe me right now if I said it's actually 3 each when it comes to first bloods. But Luxury Exotics are not converting at all, either instantly traded or giving up 2 pieces, and King of Booty will find himself a 2 down low off the back of an instant trade as well. So fantastic work. He almost finds the 3rd. Hamza does very well to stay alive. But the thing is, well, I think that puts Roxas also a fraction off of an RC. So QK with 1, Roxas potentially with another. This knife is getting pushed deep and twisted on Luxury, who must pull off a bit of a miracle here to get back into this.
Yeah, 5-1. What is going to be the play here? Is your potential last attacking round. The last couple times you've decided to just bang things out. It hasn't really worked for you. And, well, your bomb carrier is literally in Narnia. It is found by QK. Bomb down on this outside. Players are falling in. You call in the RC. It's just Hamza. The shot's coming out. They'll know exactly where he is as he drops on down. You don't even be able to find King of Body. Okay, there you do. The trades come on in, though, and it's a 6-1 for Vegas Academy. Absolutely insane. I mean, that first round went to the side of Luxury Exotics, and we were like, okay, we got ourselves a little bit of a game here. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a game at all.
I mean, obviously, you're going to hand a lot of flowers over to the Vegas Academy. I think they played things very well for the majority of that. But I got to say, like, it's so surprising to see experienced players, you know, again, Rispy, and Neum are 2 players who've played in the Elite last time out. Both had very good performances in the S&D. I mean, Rispy in particular had a 1.18 over a whole stage when it came to the S&D side of things. So yeah, I mean, I don't really understand what all of that was. You get a fair share in the first bloods. You're not managing to see any of those through, not able to convert at all. I think you end up in a situation where Luxury Exotics, well, they tried a few different things. They were trying to be patient. They never really end up doing anything with that. You then try and hit a bang out. You lose most of those engagements and end up being basically 2-pieced. So for me, yeah, Luxury Exotics, they tried a few different things out of the playbook. Vegas Academy had an answer every single time. For me, I wonder if this goes back to the fact that Vegas have been together for so long. You have that chemistry, that understanding. They've been together since the stage 2 Elite qualifiers. So a lot of times kind of hone in on what your strategies are. And of course, Protocol's been around since the very beginning. Whereas for Luxury Exotics, maybe still trying to understand a couple of things. It's all good and well when Rispy is this player that's done amazing things in S&D in the past. But if he's trying to come into a system that currently doesn't work right now, it's still a difficult spot to be in. So, yeah, I mean, it's been ugly so far. I expected a much closer series than this.
I think I did too. I think we were a little bit of expecting to see at least some little bit of signs of life from Luxury Exotics that are here. And we kind of take a look at some of the stats. I got to give a huge shout out. I mean, Roxas with over 1,000 damage coming on in. King of Body not too far away, literally 6 damage away from also crossing up there. QK with 820. Only person that isn't near their team is, well, Asim. And, well, Asim, though, he's still feeling pretty good, even with those eliminations. I mean, you're 5-2. Okay, you're feeling great. 4 of those 5 are non-traded, by the way. So you're basically just playing cleanup at that point. If you are Asim flying on forward, but some great shots coming on out. Roxas with the 7-0. Okay, that's what we like to see in some search and destroy. QK 8-2. as well. I think King of Badu is the only person negative on that team, but I feel like you probably don't matter. He uses 4 assists, probably being that point man, flying on forward, feeling good. On the other side of the map, though, it's just low damage numbers all around. Not a lot of non-traded kills. What's glaring to me, though, is the one singular assist from Rispy. Kind of goes to tell me you're really not playing as a team. You're really not playing off each other.
Yeah, I was about to come back to this, to be honest. Like, that's exactly what I was going to take it. The non-traded kills, they look disgusting. Of course, that's difficult when you don't get many kills in general. But yeah, the assist situation, you're just not working together as a foursome. We saw that actually in round 4, where Vegas basically got in round the back of trips completely for free. Don't know how that happens. Like, that is a glaring hole in your setup. I think there's supposed to be coverage coming in from Heli that just misses everything, doesn't see a player cross sidewalk. So, I mean, you just end up in a situation where if you're trying to play in that setup, if you're whoever, I forget who it was who was up top with King of Booty kills, but whoever that is, you're sat there and you're going, boys, how the hell do I have 2 players pushing in my back door when we should have complete control of the map right now? Like, so for me, difficult situation. Clearly, Luxury Exotics just don't have their S&D lined up super well. And I go back to as well to the round before that. Round 3, the one where Asim stays alive for quite some time. It does the veteran thing, make sure he's got the numbers for afterwards. He's able to get back involved in the fight. And then you end up with that situation where QK absolutely rips Hamza off of that desk. So 2 players stepping up in ways that we described they would. And when that happens, you know that everyone's firing on all cylinders and looking good. I
just want to also mention that Roxas literal drop on the noggin with the RCXD was like,
that was wild.
That's a little gross. And then, if that wasn't crazy enough, drops on down. The RCXD pulls everyone's attention towards him at Spiral, and it's just Roxas and his team who slide on forward in the back. It was actually, it was QK and his team who slide in from the back. Roxas actually gets one of those kills, and it's because his teammates push on forward. He doesn't even get traded. He's still alive. He finds one of them. QK is shooting the guy that is about to try and take down Roxas. Asim is able to bring down the other one. And it's just flawless plays like that that really impressed me. Definitely felt like sort of they had a better sense of timings on the map, how they wanted to push around a little bit. But for the most part, it was just Vegas Falcons running away. No real sense of strategy did I really feel like that was coming out from Luxury Exotic. So I'd love to see them kind of lock it on up here. 2-0 right now for the Falcons Academy. We just watched that vault hardpoint where the Falcons looked really, really good. Sometimes you say, okay, yeah, you warm up a little bit, search and destroy. It's your opportunity to get back on into the game. But a 6-1 might be having you feeling a little demoralized. We don't know the maps, so I'm curious where we're going for control here, my friend.
Yeah, well, what I am trying to do actually is find out how the other games are looking a little bit. So let me check this. So it was 250 to 191. Let me fully check which game this is. I believe we are going into the next game, by the way. I can hear the countdown timer. But 5 Fears won 250 to 191 in the hard point against... Who are they up against? They were up against Royal Spartans. So that for me is a big upset. Don't get me wrong. That it is a really good team. It's Dark Sieved, Fire, Bink, and Gunzy. Really good squad. But it is Wiz Cruz, Mamba, and Dak. So a really good team that they're overcoming there. And then they also won in the S&D 6-1. So right now, one of the teams that looks like they need to be beat, 5 Fears, looking ridiculously hot.
Well, I mean, I think we're going to be able to check in on them in a little bit. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, into the control. And I thought we escaped this. I thought we were done. I was yet again wrong. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Okay, Rispy might be feeling themselves a little bit. That's a huge 2-piece on a QK and a Asim. And it's a stack already coming in at A for Luxury Exotics. It's a wave of kills that get them onto the point. Rispy, though, are you going to be able to have it? QK answers with a 2-piece of their own. King of Body is here, and Trakes is backed on down. You almost secure A, and it's 4 dead in the feed. And you got Roxas moving on forward, wants to initiate the spawn trap.
Yeah, an absolute dagger moment there. You feel like you've got that completely under wraps if you're Luxury Exotics, but QK and King of Booty go nuclear to punch on through and just give you the 2 ticks, send you packing, and force this timer on down. QK on 4 in a row. King of Booty, not to be outdone, also finds 4. So QK answers back with number 5. And the spawn trap of death well and truly in place right now. The only player who wins anything's Rispy, and he ain't getting very far.
Oh, it's a jab that comes out from Luxury Exotics there on the first wave, but it is a flurry of haymakers answered on back from the Vegas Academy as they come off of the spawn. So a couple here, you've managed to bring this tick back on down, but you only have 30 seconds on the clock, and you're trying to make something happen. King of Body finds 1. Neem's on point. Can King of Body get there? No, thankfully the trades come on through. QK, a little bit of a shoulder. This player slides on forward. QK loses that to Trakes. Rox is in a great position here, Top Cat. You find 1. Can you find 2? No, you can't. A does get secured, so Luxury Exotics taking another minute on the board as they start to turn their sights towards B. But already it's 15-7 Enigma. I don't know if the extra minute's going to really help you or not.
Yeah, B is such a difficult place to take anyway. What I will say, Vegas Academy have completely misread the spawn here. Luxury Exotics actually going to spawn over by Trophy, so you need to readjust. QK will find 1. You can happily play trades. You will happily do that right now if you are the Vegas Academy. As Seems managed to get himself over in P2. Should start to cut off any reinforcements and give all the intel to his teammates who are ready to activate off the back of it.
King of Body flying forwards towards Street outside of Gold. Will be able to be found. Only 3 players left here for Luxury. QK finds 1. The trades are in. And, well, it's just Rispy. You are 10-6. You're feeling good, but, oh, 1v9 would be damn near impossible. Vegas Academy. A little bit of just a slayage there on those 2nd and 3rd waves coming out that give them a solid life lead. And, well, the first sort of moments of that control looked really good, Enigma. But then if you are Luxury Exotics, it kind of just fell apart.
Yeah, it's exactly what it goes back to. I mean, this moment here, you can see it. You're literally spawning up. King of Booty's one side, QK's the other, and you're just between 2 Jackals that have had your number all the way through this series, and they were unlikely to let that be any different story once you get you into that kind of blender. So that's where you burn through all the lives, and that's why Luxury Exotics are down by 9 when it comes to the end of round 1. I think for Luxury Exotics, you actually take getting 3 ticks. It won't feel like you walked away with 3 ticks there. Feel like you just got absolutely hammered.
UK, now that Vegas Academy is on the attack here. It's just these pre-fires. You know where these players are going to be. Asim, oh, you don't read the corner, but you find Trakes. Wait, do you get the second?
Okay,
no.
okay.
Maybe a little bit of an overheat, but you have an idea that you're sitting in that corner. Right now, though, Vegas Falcons, you're going to kind of back it on up. You need to make sure you don't get put into the spawn trap, but Neem is going to be able to find some of these opening eliminations, but you slide on out towards Gold, and that's a huge pickup. You can start working towards the street side, make your way on in. Crispy finds 1, a couple pre-fires going on in. Do you find the second? No, you don't. So for right now, Vegas Academy, you got to figure out how to get out of this trap.
Trakes is the first thing to overcome, and he finds 2. Neem backs it up with another, so 3 dead in the feed. Roxas, the only player still alive. He'll get caught then by the stun heading to Catwalk. So Rispy and Frosty will surround him. They find the kills, and it will mean the Vegas Academy are down by 4. They do start to get forward, but right now, just no real consistent presence, no real team push. They're falling in ones. They're falling like dominoes. Luxury Exotics looking real good here.
Finally getting some steam their way. They're playing fundamental. They're making sure they're not pushing too far ahead. Trakes doing a great job finally coming online in this series. I'm just being able to push on out, find those picks, and then back on off. Hamza trying to play around here. It's a last-ditch effort for the B side, but 4 seconds left. You made your way in onto A point. Okay, wait, let's hold up here. Vegas Academy, they find themselves here. Do the stacks come on in? I think they do. Can you hold this one on in? Asim, Jackal PDW in hand. Going huge. This map isn't over yet. It's King of Body. You're making sure nobody hits you from the front. Last tick of progress going on in. You'd get another on the board, and, well, you're keeping it close. You're still down 5 lives, but you put another minute on the clock. We saw a minute wasn't enough for the Luxury Exotics. Isn't enough for the Vegas Academy.
In fact, they've walked away from 3 here is insane. QK finds 2 at the front. Roxas with another. You get that kill, and good lord, you have so much map presence, but you do get presence on B at least. And King of Body is going to start to fight for it. All right, control as well. You get a hold of this, and Luxury Exotics have so much work to do.
You've seen Hamza. You back on up. King of Body playing here in art. You're bringing so much attention towards you. These players, they have to come over. They have to root you on out of this. The stacks are coming on in. It's 2 ticks on B for the Vegas Academy right now, but it's just Asim. He's the only one as well. Well, you're sitting in art. You're gaining all this attention. The rest of your team is dropping around you. Luxury Exotics. They got close there, my friend. But what's more important, they get around on the board.
Yeah, QK and King of Bodhi go absolutely huge here, by the way. Not only in the moments to get you that A point and even up on ticks, but you'll be very, very happy indeed to walk away with 5. A reminder, it is so rare to find offensive wins here on Vault Control that you are typically playing just 4 ticks, and to walk away from the situation you're in so far behind and come out in the lead when it comes to those ticks important. But I gotta go to King of Bodhi, getting himself into arts, getting control of that, and allowing his teammates to play around the point. Difference maker in those final fights.
Well, here we go. Back on in. It's another quick surge forward. Trakes still feeling hot from those previous rounds. Okay, that's a couple dead in the feed. Trakes doing their best to help the team get on in, and it's another fast stack. These teams are finding these kills and getting on the point. Objective players at their core. Can you manage to stay here? You manage to find A, which is great. You'll get taken on out, but you secure the point, and that's what matters.
Yeah, Niem does something really important there, and it won't show up on a scoreboard. And to be fair, he could do something on a scoreboard. He's currently 8 and 15. And, well, I was going to say something important, but the Falcons have bullied you all the way back into your spawn. Rispy with a big 2-piece to alleviate some pressure. But what Niem does there is when Luxury Exotics get all those kills on A, he pushes over towards Art. And that forces Vegas to take a second. Not only kill him, but look around and make sure that nothing else has slipped on through. And because of that, you get that complete clean stack on A and an opportunity for so much time over towards B. What I will say though, as Vegas find 3 more in the feed, that they have a great defensive cordon right now. They have a tight noose on this hold, and they are unlikely to let it go.
Minute 30 on the clock. 22 plays 16. The Vegas Academy, even though you let A go quick, you've done the important part. That is put them into a trap. B, much harder point to go ahead and control. You can see on that mini map, they are just absolutely swarming 2/3 of this map. They're not letting you gain any of this space right now. And well, Asim, you're 13 and 17. I think you're definitely making your presence known on the map. That is for sure. Especially when you got QK, who's playing on the 22 and 17. A great map already. 20 plays 10. You just start playing TDM at this point. You have a minute on the clock. You just start flying at them.
King of Booty does the right thing. Backs on off. He's going to bait in for QK, who will find one. Unfortunately, Asim deals you a final blow, gets caught up in a stun as well. Great work by Trakes, and important fight here for King of Booty. You lose this, you lose all of mid control, and it gives Luxury Exotics a different route to try and push you back from. And with a lack of intel, but with a lot of lives, Vegas Academy will try and stand one more time at B.
Still up +9, just finding your way around, but the stacks, a little bit of progress at B, coming on in. Trophy system will make sure that no nades are going to kind of land on you up over the top. Thankfully, that van has already been exploded, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Hamza finds a nice rip onto Asim.
It's ticking.
Roxas is able to find 2. There's another. You managed to cut this down. It's Trakes on the point. You got one more. It's not going to be enough. It's going to be off of kills. Vegas Academy, they answer on back here into the 2-1. Can they do it on offense? Will they take this in a 3-0 on the series? 3-1 on the map.
You start very well there if you are the Luxury Exotics. It's just that spree that Vegas go on, and it happened the first time around you're on offense to the Luxury Exotics, where you just never really get yourself out of spawn. You don't clear anything out enough to really give you a foundation to put out from. I will say it looked a little bit better towards the end. Luxury Exotics get a hold of mid, which that puts you in a spot for Vegas where you don't have any intel there. You're unsure about the flank. You end up in this very split decision about where to set up your defensive cordon. So they do a great job to find those extra 2 ticks at the end. Coming into this round, I will say Luxury Exotics on 8 ticks, Vegas Academy on 3. Lives definitely in Vegas' favor, so they just need 3 to ensure defense for round 5.
Well, I'm just going to kick us off with a 2-piece on the nade. That's a great way to start your round on defense. Asim trying to play on this outside will get caught by Hamza yet again. And for right now, Vegas Falcons, they're kind of just spawning in the back. They're trying to surge on forward. Maybe some early B pressure here, but you're getting cut on down. You answer on back with 2. Rispy's there to bring down another. So for right now, the Vegas Falcons kind of just feels like they're sprinting off spawn, trying to win an ego chow off of some of these early fights here, and just Luxury Exotics playing some really great defense, not letting it happen.
Yeah, Trix's position in Trophy as well is going to ensure a very deep spawn if you are the Vegas Academy. And the problem is his teammates all falls. That means he's got to come and get involved in the fight, something he didn't really want to do. And then gets caught between Roxas and QK. QK pops for 2. And now going to start to look to apply some pressure to these teammates arriving. This is the right thing to do. Yes, you want to stack the point. Watch this. It's cutting off reinforcements, but you do lack catwalk control. That nade's going to be important to back those players down for a moment. But watch for Neum trying to set up a pinch.
Okay, Neum is able to be a fine king of body. That's a huge first opening there, but dropping in from the cat. It's Hamza and Neum yet again. Neum is going huge right now for this team. Absolutely not dying. Finally, QK will be able to cut you on down. Slide zone forward, finds Rispy. It's only a little bit of progress you needed, but yet again, no cat control. Trakes for 2. Gonna be Asim on point. It's not gonna be enough. Final 20 seconds. You have to fly at this point if you are the Vegas Academy, and I don't think it's going to happen, as it is just haymakers back and forth. Trades coming on in. 8 seconds left. Asim, last-ditch effort. Need to stay on this point. These are huge kills. You're hopping back and forth. Wait a second. Okay. Incredible. Another minute on the clock, and it's 8-6. It's very close.
Well, that will also now guarantee Vegas the defensive round when it comes to number 5. They all favored. So Luxury Exotics almost do enough. Honestly, I think if you're Vegas Academy here, yes, you've got one last swing. You're basically playing advanced S&D. Make that 8v2, make that 8v1. But I don't think you care too much. Little bit of a scare when you think you don't manage to get yourself that 3rd tick. But it comes on through just about. Asim here. Like the mouse to a swarm of cats.
Yeah, eventually.
Something that happens in that round there, by the way. Neum comes online, and I feel like that is a player who we've been missing in this series. We saw him have a pop-off at the start of the S&D, but other than that, felt rather uninvolved. So to see him have that moment where it felt like he suddenly come online, the difference maker for sure. I mean, he even gets best play on top of this, so great stuff from him.
Yeah, Neum and Trakes, I felt like really came online and helped the team secure that round. It was Neum in that back just playing on in and really just being slippery, right? How many times did we see members from the Vegas Academy come in off spawn? They get in onto the point. They're just not even aware that Neum is playing in from behind.
Luxury. Oh, wait, okay. No, the name.
Yeah, it's just it's
wrong.
It's fine.
Okay, all right. That's scary.
We were correct.
Surely my math wasn't that far off.
we were right. We were right.
Trakes, by the way, 35 and 25, playing out of his mind, but needs some support in from teammates. Gonna push on forward. And this is an important move here. You get the B control. The problem is your teammates die around you a little bit, but you're staying up with no trophy, though. I'm expecting these nades to hit and hit hard. Van's gonna be, that's exactly what you need right there if you're the Falcons to clear that on off. But for Luxury Exotics, you do get that tick over by B. It does splinter the Vegas defensive setup, but I mean, as soon as the booty starts to push through like that, all that hard work undone.
Hold this cat control. Slow this down a little bit. These rounds have ramped up in intensity over and over and over again. You are Vegas Academy. You want to determine the tempo. You want to determine the pace right now. And they've been able to do that. Just kind of slow it down. Hold some corners. Force them to make a move right now. Drake's kind of looking out there towards gold. Hamza's going to be the first one in. You get found on out. Trakes is there. King of body. A great opportunity to find 2. Some great info. And immediately you're back on into it. Luxury Exotics. Not a lot of opportunity to make something happen here. Into the final 30 seconds. QK off spawn is in the back there. Trakes might find an opener. That's a scene. Taken on down. That's 3 dead in the feed. Where's the 4th? It's QK. He's going to be able to answer back. Find 1. Start making his way over towards Cup. But the stack starts coming in today.
Important that QK stays up here. It means you get so much map presence.
Oh my.
It means the luxury exotics are looking everywhere. And well, all 4 die 15 seconds to go. One last hit for the luxury exotics.
It was looking good, but it's a scene with a fantastic read there. You find the first one, and he's just immediately hopping up over the statue to find the second. Ingabadi denying all of this cat control. You find one on the fly out in. Off the spawn, Asim, he's going to fly on forward. Make sure you get no space, no opportunity. Vegas Academy. It goes to a round number 5 in the control, but more importantly, you take this series in a 3-0.
We'll get a look here at Neum in the end, but I think the man to pay attention to throughout all of that, QK. Impressive player. We definitely wanted to pay attention to what he was going to do, and he did not disappoint. We're going to get a quick look here. Now, I don't always fully trust scoreboards when it comes to this game, but 38 and 29 sounds about right. 4,200 damage, not bad there out on the board. But even in that round 5 there, does something very important. His 3 teammates die, he gets the kill, but what he doesn't do is engage anyone else. He just stays alive, kind of hangs out, tries to bait a couple of those players over towards him because he's aware of a couple of things. First of all, the opponents are limited on time. They have to go to that point, so if anyone is going to come and try and find him, it's probably just the one player. So happy to kind of stay up, stay alive, try and take that fight. What that also does is it keeps the players who do dive on the point, their heads are on the swivel. They're not able to pay attention to exactly like 1 chokehold or 2 chokeholds and narrow down where their opponents are coming from. And as such, they end up in a spot where they just get overrun by the arriving wave of Vegas players because, again, you're not able to just bottleneck those opponents. They overwhelm you in the end. And then just to make things even better, he comes in around the back and pinches to set up, well, close, I guess, the final blows. So great stuff from him. Really does look a difference maker out here. Of course, it is early days. It is just the first game of Elite, but you're not up against bad players and you're looking a cut above. I see why the flank are talking about him.
No, I mean, I think that's all I needed to see, honestly. What's this sort of round coming on? Oh, I mean, it was just really good to see. Let's take a look at some of those stats from that game. Speaking of QK, right? 38 and 29, 4,000 damage, but 26 non-traded kills, okay? But it's something I like always looking at Enigma. I mean, it's always about the objective, right? When you look at this, and well, QK comes on in 8 objective kills that are there. So not afraid to be starting to play a little bit of a defense. You got 14 of them were offensive kills, 24 of them were on defense kills. So just always playing around the point. That is the type of stuff you'll like to see coming out of one of your ARs, right? It's being able to get that damage in, but also play around that objective, making sure that you're able to rip people on out of it. But as we kind of look on through too, I mean, QK, even with an insane stat line like that, still 11 assists. So not only are you top frag for your team, you're also top putting out the damage to help everybody else clean on up.
Yeah, ridiculous performance, really. I mean, you've kind of hit a lot of the nails on the head there with his statistical performance, but also just in the moment, it felt like that a lot of those kills were impactful, right? It parted 2 pieces, 3 pieces, big moments to shut players down. One of those moments, for example, being when his team was starting to seize the A point, he pushes on out. If you're playing for your scoreboard, you're playing for your stats, you're happy to stand behind your guys, especially as an AR, let them push on forward, and you kind of cover up, clean up a couple of the kills, and start to make your tally look pretty. But he recognized when important moments where, for example, I'm going to push out from A, try and cut down a couple of players trying to reinforce this, make them think I'm pushing on over towards B, because then they've got to split that defensive effort, and it gives my boys on the point at A more of a chance to take that point, or at least get us the important ticks. There was a moment there in round 4 where, I mean, we thought for a second their luxury exotics had pulled it off and they were going to get the defense. They just needed that, just to hold it at 2 ticks. They did that for so long. I think there's about 5 seconds left on the timer before our team goes nuts. But again, QK felt like was involved constantly through that. He provides the cover over the top and makes sure that ASIM can finish it off. So very impactful player. You're right to call out some of the stats, but also the context around some of those. Huge performance. We'll face tougher tests, and I think that that's where we start to find out, okay, are you a potential league-ready player, or are you a getting right up there kind of player? But for now, I think you're right. Checks a lot of boxes. Very happy to see it.
Hey, I mean, we're looking at ARs in the league right now, right? There's a lot of SMGs getting moved around, but I think some teams need to start looking for some ARs, especially if we are talking about that Vegas Falcons roster. Of course, you're allegedly bringing on Arcides to join that squad there. QK might not be a bad pickup as well. I like the POV, was absolutely snapping left and right. Has some really good sort of marks for the eye test, but I think you're right up there of that, yes, you look good against this type of caliber of player. How do you look, of course, against the best in the world? A lot different situation that's there, but either way, for my first look at QK, I'm liking it. I like that Asim is coming on into this Vegas Academy roster as well, really slotting in nicely. It seems I think you're seeing some of those veteran plays, some of those veteran moments really come alive. And for as much as this team has been given, at least on the CDL side, some really good fundamentals coming on in from the Vegas Academy over these 3 maps that we got to go ahead and watch. A really masterclass performance on that hard point. 6-1 on the protocol was absolutely insane. And while this one was close, it goes all the way to a game 5. I think we still see them when their backs are against the wall, when things aren't necessarily going their way, some real strong moments where they're able to bring it back on into their favor.
No, I fully agree. It's one of those, like, we spoke about it at the top about how, we're looking at Asim to be a player that just makes intelligent plays, allows these younger guns to really do things around the map. And we saw that very effectively in game 2, right, in the S&D, but also game 3, like right there with that moment where he hops on the point, off the point, on the point, off the point, just trying to control that situation, recognizing it was an important moment to pop off, and did the thing that allowed his teammates to arrive in time to support that. A very important moment, because you get pushed to defense there. You'd absolutely bad your opponents on lives, but we don't play TDM. We play control. He recognizes that the tick is the important thing. What he's trying to do is also, by jumping onto the point, he's trying to force the situation for those defending luxury exotics players to come running at him, and all that's going to do is line it up for his teammates who've got his back. So a couple of those big brain moments that, quite frankly, we know Asim for over his career. So very much so fitting in. Love to see it. Be very curious to see what happens to this Academy roster with all the changes that's going on up at the top. Because, right now, you're qualifying for the Elite. If you get yourself into the deeper stages of the Elite, if you're improving stage on stage, they didn't get into stage 2. They get into stage 3. They win their first game. If you're an improving roster, if you're the Vegas Falcons like management, you're thinking, okay, well, we're replacing a couple of the guys at the top team. Do you take players out of the Academy squad if your squad's moving forward? Or do you just go, you know what, you guys are building something here, we're just going to let it happen? And I don't know what happens to the guys who are then pulled out of the main roster.
I don't know. I just feel like looking at QK as well already, I feel like that's a solid, it's a better looking POV than we've seen from a lot of the players that have been on that main roster so far. But it could be an opportunity where, you're right. Maybe let them cook in challengers for this year. Say, hey, we're going to sit there. Maybe we revisit next year, sort of this idea that we have of this full Saudi roster that we want to go ahead and put together, right? We know it's something that the organization really wants to do. I think it's admirable to want to do that, right? We've only seen one other organization really try and stick to everybody from one particular region, being the Miami Heretics that are there. So I like it. I think it's a great idea. Let them kind of cook here on challengers, get their feet underneath them, and start getting some experience under their belt. And especially if you can team up while you're in challengers with some veteran players like Asim, who can give you some of those pointers, can kind of make you coachable, have you understand. You obviously know Clay is probably in that camp as well, trying to help out with the Academy team as much as he can alongside there as well. So really great first series. I think we couldn't have asked one, of course, here on the B Stream watch party, baby, for us to kick it on off. I think it was great to be able to kind of see them. Luxury Exotics, unfortunately for them, wasn't a great series, but I think with maybe a little bit more time, we could see them really find some footing, come here together. But you're 0-1 so far in the group stage. Hopefully you can win your second matchup and be 1-1 on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to get to... I'm just trying to keep up with how these other series are looking. What I will say is it was 2-0 I forget the name of it, because the names of the teams have rotated so many times with new teams being signed by each other. So 5 Fears were up 2-0 against remind my name of that team, Royal Spartans, the team that is now called Royal Spartans. So 5 Fears though did just lose the control 3-2, so that series is currently 2-1 in favor of 5 Fears. However, it was settled in a round 5 control. I believe that was on Vault as well, so a very close matchup there to send that deeper into that series. So keeping an eye on all the stuff that's ongoing right now. Ben has been sending me over some of the links to some of the streams, so just trying to keep you guys up to date with where we are at. But yeah, I mean, we got ourselves a great series to kind of pay attention to over there. I feel a little bit underwhelmed by the one we just had. I thought that this was going to be far deeper and much more of a push, but I mean, the Vegas Falcons Academy boys, they were looking real hot. I'm just going to try and check out who they've got later on today. Do we actually have that? So they're going to have Distro Gaming, which is, if I can pull that up, Distro is going to be Aiden, Sizky, Katsi, and Icons. So, pardon me, they're not a bad team, but they're definitely 4 up-and-comers. They're definitely 4 players that have a lot to prove. So an opportunity for the Falcons Academy to go 2-0 on the day, big time.
No, I think I would love to see that, right? That's kind of what we want to have happen. I'm just trying to look to see myself if there's anything on Breaking Point I can go ahead and pull up here. Some great stuff coming on through. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a very, very, very short break, kind of recollect ourselves, go grab some water, do some of that fun jazz. We come back.
Lozenge should be nice.
Lozenge, and it was dying over there. I need to use the bathroom like a mother trucker because I slammed about 8 different liquids before we went live. Not really. It was like half an energy drink and some water. It was 2. That was there, but we'll do that. And we come back, we're going to start looking at our next series. It's 6F versus 5 Fears, 2 teams that I think have been getting a lot of hype on the timeline, a lot of hype out there. So I think we're really excited to talk about them. So literally 2 or 3 minutes, we'll be right back on into the mix. So do not go anywhere because we, of course, we're getting this watch party a little bit started right now. Not bad for a day number 1 thus far, but we'll be right back here in a little bit. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. Don't mind us. We are just two lozengey boys coming on
Very
in.
lozengey.
Very
Yeah,
lozengey. But
yeah, I mean, I've been trying to hit my cough button. I do apologize if the cough slipped through. I do my absolute best to like hit the button over here.
I haven't heard a single one.
Once, I'm not gonna lie, right? So I can't remember if I was live on a broadcast with you for like Total Frenzy, or I think I was, and I like missed the button and hit a sampler button. And what it did was it played my cough back to me like over and over and over again. And I was sat here like on broadcast trying to figure out desperately how to turn that damn thing off. So I have to be very careful. So I take my time, and sometimes I miss it. And yeah, so if one that ever does come through, I do apologize.
Oh, that's good. That is fantastic. I'd also like to let you know.
Do we have any music on during these moments, by the way?
And during these, so we did, and then I turned them off in case they tuned into us. We did for the break, but not for now, because I didn't want to. I didn't want to be a mixture.
I got you.
Just in case that was there, but it's okay. I would like to play music. It's something I'm going to figure out. I'm going to ask about for next time. There's one particular, really good track from the Call of Duty League. And so I then went to that album. So I'm just going to make sure like, hey, can I just like play only things from this album and it'd be good? So I'm hoping that it's a W and that it's great. But one of those things that we'll figure out, to give you guys an idea of the list of things we want for future episodes. Working on some highlights as well, being able to capture highlights throughout a game and then being able to kind of walk back over those. The ability to grab stats at the end. So when we see that scoreboard screen, we can easily pull those back up. That are there. Maybe some slow-mo replays if I can figure that out. So lots of good stuff coming on in.
Could probably do telestrations. That's one thing that we could probably bring in. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things that we want to do if we get the opportunity to continue to evolve this. I don't know, man. Like we were talking about earlier, I'm excited for what's to come. Obviously, we got to figure it out. Like this is first time jumping on anything like this. Like I know that we sometimes like have like jumped into like Hector's podcast or whatever, but I don't think we've ever done a watch party. Right? It's very different.
Yeah. It is very different. It is there indeed, very different. I want to come over here because I just want to give you a little bit of a shout out. Which one do I want? This one, yeah. This is a great tweet. You guys want a master class in tweeting? This guy,
Christ. All right,
right here. Let me hide my DMs. Let me not leak anything on.
Telestrate this for me, brother. Analyze this tweet for me.
I'm just saying, it's a good wrap up. It's a good summation of what we just watched, and it's more than just people looking at us, right? I mean, obviously Vegas Falcons looking good. QK absolutely smoking people right now,
very impressive.
Asim doing great job too. So it was a good wrap up for the Vegas Falcons. I'm giving you some credit, okay?
I'm not used to props without you like slamming me for something, so I'm just trying to like I was trying to offset it. I was trying to get there early and first. Maybe I was wrong.
Let me just say you suck. Right? Is that what you want? Or maybe just be like,
it won't be any different to our normal conversations. I mean,
that's true. That is very true.
Like again, this is watch party. We're allowed to kind of say what we want and do what we want.
I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what you're coming at me with. Sometimes you insult me even when we're supposed to be on a professional broadcast. That's true. I don't know. Like you and me certainly took swings at each other on Vegas land, so I mean,
we've had some crash outs. It's okay.
Yeah, we've had a couple of moments, but it's all good. We love each other, really.
Yes. Okay, let us look at some of this. Let's talk about this upcoming battle here. I don't know how long, like, if there's a schedule, like when these two teams are supposed to play. Do you have a
schedule?
There is a schedule. Okay. Do you know?
Let me find it.
When these two teams? Because I just want to know how much we gotta fill for. Otherwise,
my schedule.
We're leaning into some content.
8 p.m. EST.
Okay.
Is the next one? Wait.
No, that's half an hour though.
That might be based on the old. Oh no, yeah, it will be because we just had a 3-0. So like obviously they inject the time to make sure that basically.
So they have like 10 minutes. W. Was there I wanted to ask you this. Were there any moments from that previous series?
40 minutes.
No, you just said. Is it 8 o'clock before the time change? Because we moved up half an hour.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Was it supposed to be 8 o'clock, but now it's because an hour and a half for a series is pretty decent because it was originally supposed to be 6:30. So the second one would have been 8, but now we started at 6. So the next one being at 7:30 would make sense still.
Yeah, I don't think they're leaving 2 hours for one series. That would be insane.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be a lot. That would be a hell of a lot. All right. Well, I mean, let's assume 10 minutes, and if nothing happens, then after that, we're assuming another half an hour. So.
True. Was there any moments you wanted to look at from that last match that we could go ahead and pull up?
I think that there's in the last map or the whole series.
Just the whole series. Any moments that you want to take a look at? I mean, because we can do that. I could pull up the VOD of our stream, and we could just kind of scrub through it a little bit if you wanted to.
I feel like we could go and look back at the early stages of that hard point, because there was a couple of moments there where I was like a little bit blown. I was a little bit taken aback, because I was kind of like, I really expected this to be a close series. You've got two players who've recently been in the elite. You know, you've got yourself a good side for this luxury exotics team. It's a really strong team. Trakes, Hamza, Neum, and Rispy. I keep wanting to say Raspy. I don't know why, but you know, this is a squad. This is a squad that, in my opinion, should be doing better. I mean, Trakes and Hamza got second in Cup 7. That was, you know, about a month ago. And then these guys coming together. It's just, I don't know. It surprised me that they just immediately didn't do much right, let's say. Like, they immediately win a lot of the fights P1, and then, well, I think they get bullied on the initial P1, and then all die at the wrong time to flip out P2. But that second rotation where they win a lot of the fights P1, they get overly aggressive and spawn Vegas in for P2, and they basically do the exact same thing the third time around. So I was kind of like, all right, at some point, someone has got to call out that this is what's going wrong. And it also felt like we spoke about a little bit about it, but I guess we'll go through it properly. Just felt like they never really had an anchor, someone leading the way, someone saying, all right, boys, this is what we need to pay attention to. And that is surprising for an elite team.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And I think this was kind of what I was talking about in that hard point too, where it's like, just look at this, like P1's done, P2 pops already, QK just soaking on it, and you just create this death lane that comes on through. It's all three players from the Falcons really holding it on through. And then even you get some of these spawns, and a seam off rib, he finds two, will get cut, but it doesn't really matter. And this is a King of Body just doing a great job of just trying to stay alive on the point. And even though, yeah, you do go down, it's the three other members of Luxury are just out of control. They're just not even anywhere close to it. So this was the first rotation where they're able to do it. But then what kind of was crazy is that, yeah, as this point ends, you see a 3 dead in the feed there, and it lets them just hold on in, and they just basically, I think, do they full soak this? Like, is this like a full 60 or almost full 60? Like, I mean, it was almost, at least 50.
So the only thing that kind of dented them for a moment is Trakes managed to push up through Solo and through Palms and get pretty close to the hill. I think he gets a kill on the player that was in hill, but other than that, yeah, this was pretty much flawless from Vegas. But it's just one of those things where Luxury Exotics don't really need to put themselves in that situation. They do. There's something that I want to talk about when it comes to this P3, P4. There's like this P3 hill here. I don't know if it happened during the first set. Did it happen? Yes, you get Trakes spawning out. So if you pause it in a sec, if you pause now. So you see where number 6 spawns here? Yeah. Now, I think that the way that the P3 works, and I've been suspected this for a while, I've seen it a couple of times. I don't know if it happens all the time, but I think that one of the things that happens is if you'd have gone back a couple of seconds just before Trakes spawns, you don't need to do it necessarily 1 second. But you end up in a situation where, so P3, I think a lot of people think that the correct spawn to hold is up by art. You see where number 7 is?
Yeah.
I think that is what a lot of people think. But actually, I think the spawns prefer a more southern side presence. So more towards P4. Because what ends up happening is you end up with a lot of like the team that has a hold of the hill, a lot of their players will play art or the north side of the map. But if they don't have any mid-map control, and let's say, you know, we were in this situation here and the Vegas players start playing through mid, push out through those mid doors, what you end up with is, because they're the deepest south, that actually registers them as being the closest to the hill. So you can get this really easy flip out. And I don't know. I feel like I've seen it happen quite a few times. I feel like a couple of teams have definitely picked up on that at some point and potentially not shared that one around, because a lot of teams just don't seem to get it. And it happened to these guys twice in this game. So this is a big point for me where I feel like they're going wrong. Vegas don't fully take advantage of it, I will say. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they didn't need to. They were so far ahead.
No, I mean, I think that's obviously a fantastic, a beautiful breakdown. Yeah, this spawn out is just gnarly. I mean, let's just go back a little bit, right? I mean, let's just go ahead. Yeah, you can see Trakes is up there kind of towards gold, gets found out. A
booty in the middle here that I think causes that flip out. So if we keep an eye on number 3, pause it the second. So yeah, so before literally as he spawns, King of Booty is the furthest player south. Like for some reason, it registers him as like being closer than it does. I mean, who is that? Who's alive? Number 8, so Rispy.
Yep.
So I mean, I've seen it happen a few times. It doesn't happen every time. We know how spawns are. Sometimes it can be a bit janky, but I think that is why you get that spawn out. So like, yeah, literally in that fraction of a second there.
Yep.
Like, which is wild to me because obviously, theoretically, if we think about classic Call of Duty spawns, that should be a spawn in for Trakes.
Yeah, no, it is actually kind of crazy because it's like just by like a little bit is he, you know, obviously we pause, but it's like, yeah, just by a little bit is King of Body just back here. And then, and then what's sucks too is that like you don't even get like a close spawn. Like, look, he's just like literally almost all the way in the back here.
Yeah, you got to think about where the other spawns are. Like you can spawn in P4, which obviously you're not going to. You know, you could spawn around Art, which you're obviously not going to. So then you end up, all right, well, where do you spawn? Trophy? Well, no, because all the Falcons players are there. I mean, it could have spawned you in P2, but like, yeah, I mean, it puts you like literally in Narnia.
And what sucks too is like, look at this too, right? He spawns on in. I immediately look at this and I'm like, wait, you have an opportunity, right? Maybe you make your way top gold. You're able to kind of get some shots in on the back. Okay, this is looking good. But watch where these spawns come in. It's immediately off rip. Roxas is here. So even if you want to make that play, it's just you're not there, because if Roxas doesn't actually get this spawn, it looks like he makes that read that like, this is what I want to do, right? I'm coming on in. I have an opportunity. My teammates are telling me that they're looking over towards Art. Sick. I'm off spawn. Let me get this. And then, okay, well, he's able to find one. He finds QK, but then it's just immediate trades on in. So yeah, I guess you find one, but just the rest of Vegas are just, they're there. They're able to trade you out. They kind of get a quick turnaround. They deal with you, and immediately it's just eyes forward back towards that Art side and in towards that mid cut, and they're able just to hold P3. It's kind of wild.
So the route there as well from Trakes, like, don't get me wrong, Trakes is a fantastic player and obviously knows a ton about the game, but the route there from Trakes is also one of the worst things you can do, because what you could end up doing here genuinely, so I've seen this quite a lot of times. So a reminder about the fact that the game doesn't care too much about the fact that you have Art control if you're on this side of the map. It's like, that is like, okay, that's a decent thing, but it's not going to guarantee you those spawns. And what I've seen happen quite a lot is when you end up with a player in Art and then a player pushed over, like, you know, let's say you've got one player Art, one in the hill, and then one pushed over by Trophy. What you can actually unintentionally do, the best scenario would be you get someone spawning in for P2.
Sure.
But your opponents sometimes can be spawned in P4. So you could end up literally flipping your opponents into P4 because you've been too aggressive at P3.
Well, I also wonder too, if he runs right in
if he
here.
gets these kills, let's say he gets these kills where you're pointing exactly there.
Yeah.
The only place you can spawn is either P2 or P4.
Yes. Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. Like,
goes,
just even look like off spawn where he comes in, right? I wonder if he immediately starts hitting here, does this player not spawn there? Like, is he too close? So then they do flip out, and then he's actually able to get like some control here. You're lining on up a sick crossfire, and then you bring down the rest of the Falcons.
If you had an anchor in P4, then this isn't that bad. This isn't a big deal because you guarantee P2 spawns.
Yeah.
But the fact that you don't, for me, Trakes here, you should drop back to middle. You should drop back to mid map. That's for me where you should be going off this. I think he gets a little bit kill horny. I think he's getting a little bit aggressive here and trying to like just a little bit tunnel visioned, and dies anyway, so it isn't a big deal. But yeah. I mean, that's one of the thing is, if we were in early stage of the game and we're sitting and talking about this, then I'm like, you know what, this is maybe one of those things that as an analyst, like obviously we get blessed as well. We are sitting here making these comments. We're not having to play the game, et cetera, et cetera. It's so easy to talk about it on this side of the desk.
I'm just more curious about like how the game works at this point, you know, versus like that's a bad play from Trakes. You know, and that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, this late on in the season, I've expected a lot of people, especially elite teams, to have picked up on stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, not everyone's you, brother.
Yeah, dude, don't say stuff like that. Not everyone's chance casts.
But yeah, I mean, it's a couple of those moments I think were really crazy. Then obviously over here into the P4, Neum does a great job of just like staying alive, annoying here in the back. The rest of the team spawns on out, and I think he activates a little bit early here, right? Because You still find one, which that's crazy that Roxas is just immediately deleted, but you do get found. And then while that's happening, the rest of your team also gets found and just completely deleted in the back as well. It was like Neum had like a very interesting opportunity there to like really make some type of crazy play happen. But I feel like it's a little bit of COD timing, right? Where you don't really check that bottom. You just run up the stairs, you get tagged. You're lucky you find Roxas, you take it, but I think you have the opportunity to find a lot more. If he finds that first opening, might be able to slide back on out, find Roxas, come down on in. But I mean, what this was after the first set, we're getting ready for P1 to spawn. I mean, 136 to 26 is insane. That is insane.
Yeah, no, that's a decimation. And the thing is as well, like even when we started talking the P4 to P1 rotation, like sometimes you get absolutely battered at P4. So it's like, okay, what you do is you kind of draw a line. You kind of like have a player hold lion. You kind of have a player hold square. And you set yourself up in a spot where it's like, all right, well, we're going to just like stand one player on the hill and those other three are just not going to let you out of P4. And they don't do that either. Like there was so many moments here where it's like, you've made this so easy for Vegas Academy. Don't get me wrong. Vegas can only knock down the domino placed in front of them. And they did a fantastic job of that. But yeah, for Luxury Exotics, I don't think they're going to enjoy watching this one back. I think, do they have a coach? I did note down a bunch of the coaches who are on the teams. Because, of course, always worth talking to, mentioning them. And they do a lot of work for their teams.
Jiren.
The coach is, I'm going to assume that's, is it Jiren, the guy from Dragon Ball Z? Am I allowed to, is that the...
I don't know.
Is that what he's named after?
I don't think so. Is that?
Jesus, dying over here.
It is. Yeah, wow. Look at you.
Yeah. I know, right? I know. It's the one. Do people even call that an anime? I don't even know. But like, it's
like an OG. It's like you can call it an anime. It's an OG anime.
Yeah, it's like the one anime I've ever watched. And don't get me wrong, I've never watched it in order. I've watched bits and pieces. But I think that it's like, I think that if you are a coach right now and you're thinking, all right, how do we improve going into week 2? I think that some of the things that we're saying here is, gonna help you quite a bit. Enigma is just as handsome on YouTube too. Look. All right. Flirting will get you everywhere. Flattery for sure. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. We just did our first series up here on the watch party. It was an absolute obliteration. What I will say as well, by the way, Dandro, I've had confirmation. It is 8 p.m. EST when we get this.
Oh, okay.
So we got a while.
Hey, that's why we're a watch party and not a broadcast. What's going on with main?
Yeah,
what's going on at the main channel?
Why don't you pull it up? Have a look. We can tune in. Well, the watch party will watch the party over on main. So this is going to be fun. Who's it going to be? Shift and Study over there?
Yes. Yes, it will be.
Superb casters.
Okay.
Getting in. I wonder what game they have. Actually, I should be able to tell you before we even get there, but you might be able to do something here. Main game's going to be Olmit against Stallions. All right, that's a great series to cast over.
Yeah, let's actually move. I'm going to move to this one because I know that we don't have to wait around.
Sandy, Brack, Linz, and Spart against the Stallions, which is going to be Abe, Lurks, Illy, Major Maniac. So that Stallions roster is interesting. Obviously, Major Maniac comes out of the Luxury Exotics roster. Is who was in the lineup before they picked up Rispy. So Major Maniac moving on over. Illy, obviously we all know Illy. He's the ex-COD Pro, the ex-Optic Pro. He's a phenomenal talent, but it feels like he's been, I don't know, quiet this year compared to what I think a lot of people were expecting. Lurks, Nabe, obviously 2 up-and-comers that we've got our eyes on. Whereas this whole mate roster is ridiculous. Standy, Brack, Linz, and Spart. I mean, they win the Dallas Open, but that was with RCTs and Johnny, who have now been picked up. RCTs rumored to be going to Vegas, rumored to be going to Rocker. Johnny obviously going to Gentlemates. So Linz and Spark coming in here. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because like this is a 4-man ex-CDL pro team.
Yeah, this is a team that could be in the CDL right now, like really hypothetically, like would not be surprised if
this could be Vegas Falcons roster.
This could be Vegas. You're right. This could have been Vegas Falcons. This could have been some sort of team that's there. This, if they stick together and they're somehow none of them make it to the league by the end of the year, this could be a team we see at EWC, right? Like, would not be surprised to see that. But some really cool stuff. We get to see some moments from that series, but The fact they went 3-2 did go to a map number 5. So as much as we are touting how insane they are, I guess when you're looking at this, there's only 2 players here who haven't played in the CDL at some point in the last couple of years. So I guess no real surprise to see this go to a map number 5 at all.
No, this is, I mean, the thing is for this Omit roster, obviously it's going to be figuring out stitching things together. Like, you are an incredible foursome individually. It's figuring out how to be a great team. You have got 2 great coaches. That is fueling Raylus's ego for sure, if he ever sees that clip. But I mean, he's done a lot of work. He was in the Pro League with the Royal Ravens back in the day when they were under London. And then Nagafen, who is a legendary competitor in the space. So, I mean, they've got the opportunity for sure to grow and improve, but it's tough because it's the final stage, season, series, whatever we're calling it these days, but it's the final series of Elite. So you don't have very long to figure things out and get it right.
No, you don't. I mean, you really have to move on forward. I like this. Oh, look, they have the maps and modes of some of these other games that were going on. Okay, so we were about to go to a hot stand to hardpoint. If we didn't manage to end that series.
Dealership.
A dealer. Okay. Oh, listen, I'm going to maybe out myself a little bit. I've only seen bits and pieces of dealership get played, so far. Basically, It's like when I have opportunities to sit down and watch Twitch and I happen to tune in and there's either 8s or something going on. So, it's you're basically rolling the dice on whether they're playing dealership. But I feel like this is going to be really fun to watch. I'm really hoping that we get to see some dealership action here today. That was going on I'm just trying to wait to see. I was curious about some of these maps they were going on through.
Honestly, I've played a bit of dealership. Didn't figure it out. I'll be honest. Like, I just didn't have a good time on it. Anytime I played it when they threw it into ranked for a while, haven't watched a lot of it at pro/competitive level. But yeah, I mean, look, I could not wrap my head around that map, so I can't really comment on it until I've watched a lot. But what I will say, Hardpoint was chaos, absolute chaos. Control, was it Control or Hardpoint that I played? I can't remember. I swear it was Hardpoint. I'm pretty sure it was Hardpoint because I remember one of the hills being like in the garage, which was really bizarre to try and play around because it's about 19 different entrances to it. But S&D, I mean, I don't know. I can see it working. I think it's gonna be a very quick one, similar to a Skyline. But I don't know. I can see it. If we manage Skyline, we can figure things out here.
I wanted to take a look because it was a map 1 and a map 4 win, but obviously it's been a minute since we've seen Rewind in the pool, and I want to just like take a well, let's do a little bit of a rewatch here as a squad. I mean, these are 2 fantastic teams that were battling it out. It's been a minute since we've seen Rewind. Let me actually get a little bit of volume here. Because this is the part. This is where we get to be the watch part of the watch party.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, if anyone has got anything that they want us to tune in on, let us know. But I like this. It has been a while since we've seen Rewind. Honestly, I really like this map. I think it's a great map. I think it's a 3-lane. Don't get me wrong, the lanes are a bit janky, but it's it's one of the more 3-lane maps. And I'm always a big fan of that. You've also got the opportunity to control spawns really well. Obviously, this is search, so a lot of what I just said doesn't massively matter, but opportunities to rotate A and B. Abe? Did you see them cross? Did you see them under the van? Well, they saw you. Oh my god.
You get out of that! Oh, okay, no, he doesn't.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I was like, that is crazy. How did you like Rewind Hardpoint?
I'm a big fan of it.
I didn't mind it.
I was disappointed. The thing is, right, I hate this sometimes because I don't want to sound like Aches or Patty P, right? I don't want to sit there and be like, never wrong, just early, right? But sometimes I actually am. And one of the things is at the start of the year, like we were playing Skyline Hardpoint, and I was like, how the hell do people enjoy this?
We picked Skyline over Rewind.
And then I was like, yo, I love Rewind. Rewind's like this. It's one of the more traditional maps that we've
more
got.
Open.
Like, it's not.
You can hit
it's not
routes.
Super traditional. Like there's places for ARs to play. There's places for SMGs to play. This is a great map. And then we take Rewind Hardpoint out and leave in Skyline. And it's like, oh my God, like it's an absolute bang out map. 2 of the hills, you have no idea where anyone's spawning. Like, I don't know. Like, I was absolutely flabbergasted at that point.
You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's they just want one map in the pool. And I'm for this for the record. I think they just want one map in the pool that is just like straight up Slaughterfest bang out that's going on. Ever since we had the Rage in the Cage, we've always had one map. That's been crazy, right?
Bow Cage.
Yeah, we had Bow Cage, and then what? In MW2, what was the Los? Oh no, Mercado. That's what it was. Mercado was kind of very similar to that. Mercado was a real bang out. I mean, it was fun. I mean, Mercado was a little bit less Rage in the Cagey, but it was still like kind of a bang out. MW3, we have Rio, and then obviously now we have Skyline.
I thought I really liked Rio. I thought that I really liked Rio. I really liked 6-star. I thought last year we were blessed with maps that came in.
I agree.
Yeah, I have to remember which one Mikado is. Mikado was the one that had like 7 hills, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
It was very different. I didn't think it was a bad map, but it was an interesting map.
I think it was way better S&D than it was Hardpoint.
Yeah, agreed. I like the S&D a lot there.
It was small enough that you could like get
by like mid-season releases. Like honestly, 6-star and Rio in particular, I thought was an absolutely fantastic map. I thought it was brilliant.
I liked it a lot too. Has me wondering what we'll get. We'll add any more. I mean, we had firing range. Like, I don't know. Maybe firing range somehow makes it in. I have no idea. That's why we just react to the maps that get added. That's really what we do. But some good stuff here. I'm excited to see Rewind back in the pool. I'm excited to see Dealership a little bit more. I kind of wish we would have maybe had a series that we could have watched that had Dealership. You got any stream links over there of anybody that played Dealership that we could just take a little peek at that we haven't seen?
Sorry, I'm kind of like checking a couple of things. So like Lord Gaming, we're down 2-0 against Team War, but I forced it to a game 5. So Lord Gaming is Fame, Hixie, Mock, and Paul X. Paul X obviously coming out of the CDL. Team War
who got dropped for Paul X?
Well, this is the thing. So everyone thought it was going to be our cities, but I guess not now. So
true.
I need to kind of take a look and see who that was, but kind of taking a look here at some of these other things. Omit Brooklyn beat Distro 3-1. Just kind of taking a look here. I think Ben is actually messaging me, running different streams and tweeting out from Challenges Intel. Incredible stuff. And then sorry, Omit Brooklyn were the team that I was on about before, who beat Distro. But Hometown Spartans beat Rally Esports. Okay, so I was wondering, Houston Spartans, sorry. No, I always say Hometown because it's H-Town as they're at. But this is one of the things I was unsure about. So Houston Spartans is apparently what they're called, but we had them down on like the official stuff as... where are they? As... Royal Spartans. So is it? I think while it still says Royal Spartans on the official thing, I think I'll go with Royal Spartans, but it might be Houston Spartans. But they actually beat Rally Esports. Sorry, no. The Houston Spartans beat Rally. Wait, I think that tweet's actually incorrect. I think that tweet might be incorrect. No. So the Royal Spartans beat Rally 3-1, but that means that Dark and Co are not playing under 5 Fears. They're playing under Rally Esports. So that is what the problem is here. So I was going off a lot of the stuff before that was kind of, especially the stuff that was on Codpedia, because usually they're so far ahead. Usually they are incredible when it comes to. Let me check, see if there's been any updates recently. Might be a few updates. 5 Fears. Now 5 Fears is still listed. There's Dark Sieved. Wow, Dark Sived, Gunsy, Bink, and Fire. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if Rally picked them up very recently. We haven't had time to update. Looks like it. Okay, so is it Rally then? I'm gonna find out.
You're saying a lot of words and a lot of teams right now, and I'm just gonna let you kind of work through that one on your own. I'm just enjoying watching these two teams play.
Josh that does CDC Intel. Houston Spartans and Rally Royals Esports is what I'm getting told here, but I'm telling you that I'm seeing Royal Spartans as Dak Cruz, Big Ed, and Wiz, and then 5 Fears as Dark Side, Gunsy, Bink, and Fire. So Ben, I know you're listening to us. Do let me know if there's something incorrect there. But that's what I've got on Codpedia. That's also what I've got on a lot of the stuff in the back as well. So Yeah, just would love a little bit of a check if we can, just to make sure we are saying the right things. A little checkaroo.
We're just making sure. I just watched Sandy pop a two-piece. Absolutely insane.
It's important for me to know because Five Fears are the team that we're supposed to be covering next, but are they actually called Rally? That is the important thing.
I guess we'll know when we load in whatever's on the top.
Yeah, I guess so. Jesus Christ.
We'll just be listen, we're kind of just here, chat. We're just here. Okay, I just work here. That's really all it is.
Partnered with Rally. Okay. Wait. Oh, okay. So the Spartans, right? Okay, so that's why.
It's like Spartans X Rally.
So the tweet is the new Spartans X Rally Esports take dealership to type their series versus Five Fears. So the reason there's 3 teams tweeted in that is because technically the Spartans and Rally Esports have kind of like joined together as one team.
Yes.
So that is where the confusion is coming in from. I got you. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that was confusing for a second there. I was like, all right, that makes no sense. But it is still Five Fears for the team that we thought was going to be Five Fears, which is important.
That's good.
Yeah, Five Fears then being beaten out. So Dark, Gunsy, Bink, and Fire will lose 3-1 to. I'm just gonna continue to call them the Royal Spartans because, or Rally Spartans, whatever the hell we'll call them.
Rally. I like Rally Spartans.
Yeah, I think that would be a nicer way of putting it.
Sure.
And this is one of the problems. This is one of the problems with challengers. This is one of the problems with trying to keep track of everything that goes on here.
You're doing great.
It's just all the name changes. Like as I said before, like we have a situation in EU where Mission Magpies is now a totally different roster to what it was literally like a week ago.
Yeah.
Just what it is. Just how it works here in Challengers. We all do our best to keep up name-wise. Abe, nice try there.
That was a good try. I thought he was about to hit like a nasty little fadeaway type thing, but
sorry about the cough, by the way. Yeah, no,
it's really
Ben, I can
off.
see you sending me DMs. I have. All right, rude. So yeah, no, I've caught up. So what I saw was you tweet. So I saw your tweet, and you had 3 teams in it. That's what had me confused. Yeah. Sorry, not you. Josh tweeted it because you don't tweet on the Intel thing. Josh does.
We figured it out. He got there eventually. You just kind of sometimes you just gotta let him ponder and struggle through it, and he gets there eventually. And you know that's why we love him. It's okay.
It's just the way it goes. Like even if we had sat here all year covering these teams, we're still gonna get to a point where it's like, okay, what are these guys called now?
Which is why I'm glad we're here on the first week. At least that way we get a good idea of who's here. If any team changes do happen, we have a nice little idea of who's playing around here. Mm-hmm. I want to see how, because I think Omit win this 6-4, and I'm curious to see how they managed to do it. Well, it's probably losing gunfights like that. Okay. Oh my God, Standing. Wait, Standing was 9-2. Holy. PC check, please. Brack 1v3. Wait. Oh my God, he actually almost did that. Holy, wait. Brack literally almost just 1v3 did that.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, just checking out CDC.
The CDC? Center for Disease Control?
No. CDC Intel. I gotta say, obviously, taking a look at. I mean, who have we got coming up next then? So we've got 6F Carolina against 5 Fears. So this is going to be Darkside, Gunsy, Bink, and Fire. Darkside. So they finished. So Darkside and Gunsy played at. They got top 4 at the Dallas Open.
Yep.
They came. So they were playing alongside Prolute and Spart at the time. Honestly, I feel like from a obviously. KD isn't everything, but it's important to point out that Gunsy and Darkside were way off their 2 teammates, Prolute and Spart. Prolute put up a 1.1, Spart 1.06, Gunsy a 0.88, Darkside a 0.91. So they'll feel like they'll wish they could have contributed more there. Prolute was a ridiculous 1.69 KD in the search. Very, very impressive.
Big Byron.
But then we look on over at the 6F team. This is Manny, Cryptic, Proda, and Kips. Now, they actually finished top 48 at Dallas, but with Nementions instead of Kips. And they were literally signed under the 6F brand last night. So the 6F team that was at Dallas is a totally different team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just for the team that has, for the matchup that has just played, just kind of surprised that for Wiz, Cruz, Dak, Mamba, they finished top 6 in Dallas. That is the Spartans X Rally team. So, for them to come out and look so good in the first series is really impressive from them. Really, really good stuff. I think that's the team to pay attention to right now. In NA Elite, by champs, you'll be sorted. I mean, I will, and then we'll be just like, we'll just end up in a situation. The problem is stuff like that, where it's like, okay, we're covering 6F Carolina. Is it the same 6F Carolina of a week ago? No. And that's just what champs is always, that's just what Challengers has always been. It's just how it always works, and it will be forever how it works. Everything changes so much down here. It's kind of one of the things I love about the pit, actually, but it's also one of the hardest things to keep up with.
Well, I do think we are about only 8 minutes away, I think, from hopefully this next game starting on up. So, yeah, we let's talk a little bit about these teams, right? And a little bit about these players. I know you just did a great job. Just kind of nice little segue. So thanks, man. Hop on that segue.
Anytime, dude.
Hop on that segue. Write it for me.
Over here. Like, I am absolutely in bits and pieces over here trying to work all that out. But it's all good.
If it makes you feel better, next week we will have much more time to do all of this.
We will. A lot more.
A lot there. But yeah, I mean, you kind of mentioned 6F. This team is not the same team that played at the Dallas Open. A top 40, top 48 at the Dallas Open underneath the 6F brand. But it doesn't really matter because it's a whole brand new team. So this team was called Crown Crusaders, if I'm reading our notes correctly, before, and they lost to Omit in winners. So that's actually something to note about, is that when you're making it to winners, you get taken out by Omit. It's not a bad team to go down to by any means necessary. Let's see. Let's just kind of talk a little bit through these teams, right? Let's start with 5 Fears. Because I feel like this is going to be a fun team to talk about. Yeah, ProLoot and Spart, your 2 best players. They are left. You bring in Bink and Fire, though. But didn't you write this down? Had like an insane KD across the
Stage 2 Elite.
Yeah, Stage 2 Elite.
Highest KD coming out of North America in the Stage 2 Elite, and that was a 1.21. So 1.29 in the hard point, 1.43 in the search, 1.01 in the control. So
gotcha.
Very impressive performance. It is a case of you get top 6 still. So it's whether or not you're slaying out against weaker opposition and then not putting up against bigger teams, whether or not those kills were truly impactful, or if it's just a case of your previous team wasn't doing enough for you. It could be any of those 3 things. I like to lean on the third one there. I like to try and be like, okay, well, maybe you needed a better team to help punch yourself further forward. I will say that you come out here and lose in your first series, and that I'm taking a look here, and it's like, he's 26-32 in the losing screenshot. So it's a case for me when it comes to Fire of like, okay, well, prove who you are. You're a guy that's clearly a lot better than a lot of the space, but is it a tough one for you against top teams? Yeah. Or do you just need to be in a system that lets you be that big time slayer against big squads? I think that is where, because Fire, I mean, he was previously in the league, right? He was on that Paris Legion roster, didn't perform, and I think that has really hurt his stock since. Even if he performs well, I think a couple of people still remember back to then, and kind of a bit like, well, we're going to take a risk on a guy that when he got his opportunity really flumped. But back then he was a young man. He's now, I mean, he's got to be in his early to mid 20s now. Sure. So he's, spent a lot of time growing, a lot of time performing. You drop the highest elite in stage 2 of the NA, the highest KD there in that elite. And it's a case of, right, well, if you can consistently put up those kind of numbers and start to put yourself in winners finals, losers finals, grand finals, then I think it is a case of everyone should start to take note of you. So this is an opportunity for Fire to do that in our final elite series. And what a time that would be, again, when we start talking about teams that will try and build new rosters through the summer or even make changes through the back end of the year. That could be Fire's way of getting his redemption opportunity. So really hoping that he steps up and delivers.
Definitely could be. I mean, you kind of mentioned that. Hopefully he's getting put into a system that maybe would allow him to come online. And, you have Darksided, Gunzi, and Bink have been playing together a lot since MW3. So that's a potential nice little trio that you got going on there, right? Sometimes it's what you kind of want. You want like this established trio. You bring in a fourth and they're just able to start running with it. Let's talk about little team known as Atlanta FaZe, right? You bring in Draza alongside this system of obviously the Tiny Terrors and Celium. He's able to absolutely fry on out. Fire, potentially, I think the opportunity to do something similar here. Bink, of course, was previously on that Cabal Gaming team with Fire as well. So there's like a little bit of chem there as well, right? It's not just like this completely random happenstance. So you bring Bink back on in, you get this trio who has chemistry. Fire has some chemistry, of course, with Bink as well. Kind of makes for this perfect storm when it comes to a team. And that's, I feel like, will be really interesting to watch, especially this is the first opportunity we're seeing some of these rosters come on through, right? So hopefully they've been scrimming. Hopefully they've been doing a great job of getting, obviously, Dealership and Rewind in their map pools and figuring out how you want to play that. And start looking pretty good. But let's talk about this 6F Carolina team. Manny, Cryptic, Proto, and Kips. Okay, this is, I think, a team that we are very curious for because they missed out on Series 2. They were just short of it, being able to come on in. And we don't really have a lot of information on this squad. So I always like to look at these. It's like, maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to see a new team rise from the ashes and really come on out and make themselves known.
Yeah, so I mean, Proto, Manny, Cryptic, they've been together since Cup 5. So they've been together for quite some time. A lot of performances somewhere between top 16 and top 6. The Dallas Open was not good for that trio. They finished top 48. Kips did slightly better, top 24. Dimensions out, Kips coming in. I think that this trio are trying to find their perfect fourth. They're trying to rotate through a bunch of options to see if they can find the player that fits with them. And sometimes that's because they feel like, as a 3, they might just think, okay, we have something special here. They did pick up top 6, Cup 7, but then it was top 16 in Cup 8. So, I mean, you end up as well just falling short in qualifiers for the Stage 2 Elite. Kips comes in, you do get yourself to that Stage 3 Elite, so this could be the guy that helps you be, you got 3 players with real chemistry there, the 4th one comes in and just gels it all together, is that final piece of the puzzle. This could be what we're looking at when it comes to this roster. What I will say, we still need to see how they did in their first game, but when it comes to an opportunity to really kind of cement whether or not you have taken a step forward, not only is getting into the Elite impressive, well, if you do manage to come out on top against this 5 Fears lineup, that is going to be a real statement there about just how far, the fact that then you don't know the ceiling of this team. I think if you lose here, then it's a case of, all right, you've lifted yourself to a point where you can get into the Elite, but 5 Fears just lost in their previous matchup. You then go on to lose in that game. So that, that would be a real dampener, but I don't know. It'd be nice to see them come out, in particular Kips, have himself a series, new kid on the block for this trio. That it feels like, again, they just keep rotating through a potential 4th piece. I like it sometimes when that 4th piece comes in, delivers, and then that trio go, all right, okay. If the problem continues, then it's definitely not the new guy because he's putting on.
No, yeah, I think there's a really good thing to call out there. I just kind of was looking through some of the tweets that we had.
I think it's just easy sometimes to make the new kid the scapegoat.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You're coming on in and you're like, who's this guy? This guy sucks. And it's like, well, actually, you're the problem, right? But nobody ever wants to admit they're the problem. Nobody ever wants to admit they're the problem.
I'm gonna take a look here. Day 1. So we've got 6F. So they played Cabal Gaming first game out. I think actually Ben DM'd me about that.
Also just saying, I'm hearing lobby sounds, I believe, in the background, so we might not be too far away from hopping in.
Gaming beat Carolina 3-1, and the only map that Carolina managed to win was a 5-3 comeback on Hacienda. So a bit of S&D prowess there, a bit of S&D ice in this team, but other than that, did not look good against Cabal Gaming first game out. What I will say, Cabal Gaming are not a bad roster at all. That is Kuti, Rupert, KB, and Wads. Kuti and Rupert in particular have been playing together for a long time. And these 4 actually have chemistry from having played a lot through the early season together. So
sure.
Cabal Gaming, not a bad team, but still one of those that I'm kind of putting somewhere between like third, around your upper mid pack. So Carolina coming out and losing that, I feel like you really have got to take a fight to 5 fears here. You don't want to be walking away 2 droppings, really 0-2 after your first day. That's a tough spot to be in.
No, that is not the spot you want to be in, right? I mean, we even talked about that earlier, right? With some of the EU squads, where you don't want to be ending today with an 0-2. Ending 1-1, while it kind of sucks, it's at least like pretty okay, right? You say, okay, we took one game, we lost one game, we can take our highs, take our lows, and then move on towards next week. We're pretty mid-pack. Great. Like, we can 2-0 next week, and we're right back into the mix. 0-2 means you basically have to be perfect from here on out in your group stages moving forward, right? So that's why it's really tough when you kickstart this in that, sort of fashion, which is why, sometimes we see people, it's literally week to week that maybe teams are starting to change rosters already, because if you go 0-2, you're like, okay, our opportunity to make it out of groups here is dwindling, and we really need to. So sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures.
I mean, I've seen it before where teams will play around the elite. I don't know what the rules are anymore and whether or not you're allowed to still play in the cups if you're in the elite. That might have changed, but back in the day, it never used to be a thing. You could just play whatever you wanted. And it used to be, some teams that would really underperform in the elite, what you'd end up with is they'd have a different roster. They'd basically they'd start off so bad in the elite that the roster basically split, but they had to play the remaining elite games. So now I think that, nice. Colton coming in big here.
Yeah, we got maps and modes, baby. I can't really show it. It's not like a fun little thing. I actually want to work on that. I might have something to like show maps and modes, but it would require me to get.
Can't you just open that in a new browser?
Because it doesn't. I guess we could. I mean, it doesn't like look cool, but I'll throw it out.
I mean, look, we are very much so making this work. Like this week, like we are figuring it out.
I'm doing this again so I can know when game starts. Hopefully that's coming on through, but we'll make this a little bit bigger for you, chat. We have our maps and modes for this series. Let's talk about it. Okay, so we are going to be having a Hacienda Hardpoint Protocol Search and Destroy, Hacienda Control, a red card Hardpoint, and a Hacienda S&D. Please, COD gods, let us go to a map 4. That is all I want to see. I want to see a red card Hardpoint. That's what I want.
Yeah, interesting to me to like kind of look at some of the picks and bans here.
Sure.
So, I mean, Hardpoint, you got a ban for Vault out of Carolina and a ban for Protocol for 5 fears. I mean, it's very interesting to see. Like, I'm not really seeing a consensus for these teams right now. I mean, I guess like individually, you just have a situation with these teams where they don't like certain maps. Protocol, I can understand, because that is one where teams that don't like really can get run over.
Yep.
Carolina maybe suffering from the same thing that we saw Luxury Exotics with earlier, not really understanding exactly how to play around that unique spawn system that they have going on there. But yeah, we end up on Hacienda and Red Card, 2 massive maps when it comes to our hard points. I will say I don't mind Red Card. I think it's fine. I think it's one of those maps that maybe had a bit of a harsh treatment during our time. But Hacienda Hardpoint, I love this map. I think it's so good.
No, I love Hasi Hardpoint. I feel like there's a lot of different dynamics to it, right? You have some great opportunities through some of those points for your ARs. Your subs can kind of play through mid, get some great routes, get some great timings. I think it's gonna be a fantastic first map for us to go ahead and watch. I do find it interesting that 5 fears, when it comes to the search and destroy, 5 fears banning rewind, and Carolina immediately 6F Carolina rather banning dealership. So it's just like 2 new maps. Nobody wants to play them. You're saying I would rather play anything else. We do not have reps on it yet. Please do not make us play this. Is really, really interesting. Just to kind of see, right? And then you obviously see the protocol get picked up, and then you see the Hacienda. But I am seeing, ladies and gentlemen, we are in game. So let's hop on over. We'll get ready to talk about these maps and modes here in a moment.
Well, this P1, a lot of it, of course, is going to be making sure you lock down P2, which is going to be Lambo's side. And, well, it's 3 kills that go to 6F Carolina. 5 fears will answer back with a couple of their own. So opportunity then for teams to square off a little bit over P1, but again, it's all about who plays over this right side of the map and holds down for P2. You did get Cryptic in there for a moment, but he seems to have given that up, and Five Fears then will have an opportunity to draw a little bit of a defensive cordon if they can clear Cryptic out of top.
I mean, I just watched Bink do some absolute work just to kind of sprint to this spot, right? Nothing really on the board yet, but you've set yourself up already towards P2 there. So not a lot of points here on the P1 to set it on up. But as we get ready for that next point to come on through, you got a couple players making their way through lobby, but it's Darkside pushing in on the back. Will do a great job of finding one. You have another player holding these spawns out here. Carolina, you've made your way on in towards the point. You're starting to get some of those early points, but can you break this on open? Five Fears a little bit slow on the get up to get on into this point, but pistol in hand, Gunsy finds two. Can you find three? No, but you've probably done enough. Darkside, you just need to slide on out here, maybe find another. You do. That's a 3 streak, puts you at 6-1.
Yeah, great work from Gunsy there to punch back into the hill. I think if you lose P2 from the front, you start to already get a couple of questions about how the rest of this map is going to look for you. But Gunsy spares your blushes for just a moment, and then you've got control from the rest of your team over towards lobby side. And Darkside, well, he's going to activate to push out through the front, goes 5 in a row, nearly finds the 6th, but that's going to do enough to alleviate the pressure and begin that rotation over to P3.
And you can see Bink immediately playing off that information that was able to be grabbed. And yeah, the spawns are already on through. Gunsy, you have to win this huge fight. You make it on happen. And I love this. You see him get that pick, and it's immediate. 180 on the arrow. You know where these spawns are coming on in. You invest the trophy system. You found yourself here on the point. Five Fears doing a great job through this first set, getting in on the point, but also finding these kills that lock it on in. Fire playing in the ever precarious position there on the top side, making sure nobody's going to be able to get a route through window.
Yeah, I think it just comes from a lack of an anchor here for Six Figures. The fact that you don't end up with someone just controlling that back garden means that because Darkside pushed forward, he's blessed with a little bit of a spawn. Fire's just going to continue to light up the feed. 6. Oh, nearly number 7. But he'll be decked out when it comes to streak, so he isn't going to care. He's going to be putting himself in situations to control something or break something should he need to. Darkside and Bink will find 2 more in the feed. And well, Five Fears, they are rocking and rolling and showing a little bit of a skill gap here to their opposition. We move on over towards Rock. Manny was here nice and early. He finds one in the back, but Darkside cleans it up. And well, as red arrows do collapse, it's all on Gunsy. 6F Carolina have done enough to get in, but can they hold?
You'll spawn out if you are Five Fears, so maybe a little bit of an overheat coming on in, but Fire, here we go. Missile coming on in. You see everybody immediately tries to move their way on inside. Do you catch anyone? No, but it will at least give you the opportunity to get some information. Bink on the outside, trying to open this one on up, but for right now, it's been a great hold for the Six Figures, as they are just holding this rock on in. They're not going to let this lead get too far away from them. Almost a full 60 Fire. You may have just hit some COD timing. You're able to find one, but the player up top is not there. Okay, you bring down 2. It's just 1 player left, and that's because Gunsy's got a missile of his own. Manny and Cryptic found on the edge of it. That's 3 dead in the feed. As well, it's a little bit of scrap time going to Five Fears as P1 about to get popped on up.
I'm going to be honest, I feel like off the back of Fire's use of the cruise, you don't end up with enough of an activation from Five Fears. What you're hoping there is to pick off players. They're trying to exit the point, and they don't really do that. I'm very surprised by Gunsy's use of his cruise. Must be a reason for it, but I can't really figure out what it is that you've benefited from in terms of using it, because you don't even have P2 side control, which might have been what he was trying to activate around. But 6F will get themselves a little bit back in the game. It's a bit more respectable, but still halfway behind Five Fears in terms of score. And well, 3 more dead in the feed. We'll just continue to twist the knife.
P3 to P4, though. If they play it perfect, it could get you back on into this game, as we are halfway through. P1 on the second set, and it's just basically us swapping POVs and watching members of Six Figures get cut on the hop-ups. Already, Darkside trying to make their way on in towards P2 will get found out by Kips. That's a huge 2-piece from Kips to secure you the rotation. Already, you're holding this one on through. Great job by Six Figures. You make these early reads, you set up the rotation, you deny any space on the map.
Yeah, Kips with 2 very big kills there. You called it out correctly. What I also like to see is that, well, what I liked to see is that you had an anchor, but you've given it up. So you get flipped on out because Five Fears have pushed well side, and they will get themselves in now for back control. You've also got one arriving from the front. Thankfully, win that fight. Otherwise, you're in a pinch position. But Carolina, they're going to hope to win all of this from the front. They're going to turtle up on the point as Five Fears are arriving.
Playing through the ramp side. Proto gets a little bit antsy. Slides on out. Will get found. Manny trying to do his best to stay on top here. The shots are in. We have a player hitting the dolphin dive. It's going to be Darkside. Last player from the 5 Fears to make their way onto P2. You'll hopefully be able to secure this last 20. Keep this lead in your favor. You're just dodging some nades left and right. Slide on in. Fire makes a quick read. And you got your teammate Gunzy in the mid helping you cut down Kips.
And Gunzy does really well here to push on out. This not only alleviates pressure, but it could flip the spawns entirely. And it's only Cryptic to slow you down from doing exactly that. Darkside gonna get aggressive. He finds it. Unfortunately, Gunzy will finish you off as well. But this will now give you the preferred spawn side. That being said, Carolina will be in control of the hill. Opportunity to try and hold as they edge ever closer in this matchup.
Well, Gunzy gets in some of those early shots. He's gonna pull a lot of the attention on over. And look who it is. It's Bink from the backside. It's a huge 3-piece to crack open that hill. You make it yours off of some great teamwork that's there. You pull all of the attention on in, you get those easy shots, and it's fire from up top for another 2. They are just getting lined up and knocked on down. 5 Fears are looking very clean right now.
Yeah, I think every now and again, there's just a couple of moments where we get to see the individual prowess from the players of 5 Fears. Moments like that where Bink breaks with 3 of his own. Fire then lights up a couple more, rotating in through Office. And well, has a little bit more fun before his teammate trades it on out. Gunzy's up to 5 in a row. And Carolina, well, they have had a couple of moments to make things interesting and get 3 more kills here. This was the best hill for them in the first rotation and even absorbed 2 cruise missiles en route. But this is the kind of problem you have now. You don't want to be too turtled up and risk getting pressed in from multiple sides. So I think that Kips has got a big job here to stop this flank coming on through.
My question is, though, does soaking P4 matter if you're getting beat on the other 3 hills on this map?
No.
Because that's kind of what it feels like is happening. They're doing a great job playing for this P4, but then it's just, you're letting it all go away on every other single point. And even then, for the time being, you're not even able to hold this P4. It's Bink going huge yet again for another triple kill. You'll get found out one more time, but thankfully Fire is there. Even if you're not getting points on this, you are just still making it competitive. You're not letting 6F Carolina be able to get in on the point and soak up these points that you know they absolutely desperately need.
Yeah, for 5 Fears, this feels like a team that just lost their first series when they really didn't want to, really weren't expecting to come out with a vengeance. And for Carolina, it feels like it's been a constant 60-70 point gap the whole way off that very slow start. You're making it a little bit more interesting, but right now, 5 Fears, they're going to hold, they're going to lie in wait. They're baiting you into gunfights, and well, you actually, Carolina coming out on top in them. That's 3. If Bink falls, that's 4, and you can push out for those P2 spawns.
Yeah, you're still getting the well spawns, though, as you're surging on forward. Bink, you cut one down here in the entryway as P1 still has 20 or so seconds on it, so maybe a little bit early on some of these plays, but Gunzy will be able to find one. Still trying to just stay on the point here, and you can look at the rest of the 5 Fears. They're really valuing these back spawns. They don't want to give these up yet again. You're going to have to force 6F Carolina to start banging it out from the front, and well, you get some great eliminations here. This is what we saw on the last set, though. Will it be a similar activity as well? Proto, you're going to eat a nade to the mouth.
Manny punching in through the front. 5 Fears will have control of the spawns, but Carolina have the hill. What Manny needs is support. You got to watch his side door. He's doing enough to delay this push for now, but it won't be for very long as 5 Fears chuck the kitchen sink at him and starts to get aggressive. And well, Fire kills his teammate.
Yeah, the team nade is not going to be great for that push, but thankfully you do get this spawn. You're able to find one, and Kips, you get one towards the cubby, but it's not going to really matter much when the rest of your team is getting picked off of the point. 20 or so seconds here. I don't think 5 Fears can win off of this. It'll be very close. It might only be literally a second or 2, but either way, you're putting so much pressure onto 6F Carolina. But the only worry here, Enigma, is we are getting ready to go to P3, and we watched 5 Fears do some great stuff on this point. If you're 6F Carolina, you definitely need to keep this one in your bag. You need this P3 into P4 if you want to make this mixy.
Yeah, the one thing is, well, for Carolina, you don't have that anchor in place yet. Again, this happened to you in the first rotation, and Bink will find Manny. So you start to set up a pinch then. 2 teammates playing in through arches, 2 through tin, and the kills start to come in.
Fire. Good for 2. Final 5 seconds. Nobody from Six Figures Carolina to be found. The spawns are a little bit too deep. A very flawless play from P2 to P3 for 5 Fears. They'll take map number 1.
Yeah, it felt like, I mean, you raised the point there. I mean, there was a bit more of a fight back from 6F at one point through that matchup, but largely we're going to see that while 5 Fears did very well at P4, it was that P2, P3 in particular. Sorry, while 6F Carolina did really well at P4, it was 5 Fears that did a much better job at P2, P3, and in particular chaining them together, which shouldn't be as easy as it looked there, with the fact that they're opposite sides of the map after all. But twice we saw a situation where P2 largely went the way of 5 Fears, and then there's no anchor in play for 6F Carolina. You want someone playing that back garden, at least playing flowers, and you never really see that happen. As such, you end up with 5 Fears wrapping. You see it right at the end there. You get 2 players pushing on through. Manny's found. They set up a pinch in that situation, but the previous time in the rotation, it was just about bullying on through and then getting control of the hill. Don't get me wrong, a couple of individual moments where you see gaps in quality a little bit. Bink pops off, for example, for 3 pieces a couple of times. And those things you can't really analyze. You can't really break down, other than the people who are getting 3-piece need to do a better job of slaying out. But yeah, again, other than P4, which should be a really hard hill to hold in theory, considering you can get hit from 3 different places, I feel like 6F Carolina never really got a lock on so much of the map.
No, I feel like that was kind of what we saw, right? It was through those first couple of rotations. First rotation, P4, where they played it beautifully, right? Second rotation, it got a little bit mixy. They didn't even get to it on the third one, right? And so it's a great idea there from 5 Fears to really kind of lock that one on up and not have it happen. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some of the stats from that round, my friend. Oh my God, my lineup is almost perfect. Look at me go. We're getting pretty good at this.
We're improving.
We're improving. Yeah, let's go.
Steps forward.
Oh,
but did not have himself a game. 10 and 24. It makes for tough reading. Yeah, that's really hard to see. To be honest, one of the things as well that I was going to call out, you know, you called something out, and it was that Kips picked up 2 big kills on rotation from P1 to P2, right? There's a moment there, and I'm pretty sure it's Cryptic and Manny. They both are stood deep. They're against the back gate. They have themselves then the P2 spawns. It's a great position to be in, and both of them go running up the driveway towards Lambo. That leaves that back gate completely open then. So all the work that Kips just put in to try and get you that rotation, undone immediately, because then you get the 5 Fears players arriving in through well side. So just a couple of moments like that where I think it's got to become someone's job. In short, I mean, usually it's me because I can't shoot very straight in ranked, but like, you're looking at a couple of players that are like, son of a, you're looking at a couple of players, you know, and you're going, well, who's the leader there? Who's going to take control of this situation and IGL it, or at least take responsibility and lock it on down? There are hills where people like to play out from the front side, and maybe that's something that you're hoping to do, like flip 5 Fears in so that you're on the opposite side for the back end. But then you lose the 2 to 3 rotations. That investment is completely wasted. It just, I don't know, man. It's a tough one to read with any sort of nice way of talking about Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the reality of the situation, right? Is that those are those moments you're going to go back, you're going to be in VOD, you're going to say, wow, we had some great kills, but we weren't able to convert off it, right? And I feel like that's something you and I talk a lot about, you know, kind of through some of these, you know, kind of multiplayer matches. It's, yes, you can find the kills, but can you convert off of them? And it feels like that's exactly what is a mistake from 6 Figures there, right? You watch Kips pull the 2-piece, fantastic. You gotta have a little bit of comms though. That one of you that comes off spawn, you have to stay back. It's okay if one of you wants to push up ramp side towards Lambo, the other one's got to stay back. But there are a couple stats I want to highlight here as well. The first one, it's gonna be Bink, 25 and 16, absolutely insane stat line, just over a 1.5. But 24 of those 25 are non-traded. This guy is just getting lost on the map, no call outs coming on in. And then the other one I want to talk about is 26 and 16, only one more kill for Fire. Only 20 of those, only 20 of the 26, by the way. Only 20 non-traded, but more importantly, 3,700 damage. Absolutely just putting bullets into this team and really making sure that they're one shot alive. When you kind of see one player with a lot of damage, the thing that I kind of always look at is they were just creating so much pressure on the map, right? Even if you're not converting a lot of that damage into eliminations, you're still absolutely putting these people up. Like, what are you going to do? Run around one shot? No, they're going to have to be sit away. They're going to wait for their health to regen. And that just messes up all of the timings. And I feel like that's something we saw, of course, 5 Fears do really well, right? It was play off of those timings, play as a team coming on in. You have to imagine it was off the back of Fire, at least getting in some damage, whether it be through nades or just kind of a little bit of a pre-aims on people throwing shoulders. But enough of the yapping here. We just did a whole breakdown on that, but we are into the search and destroy, ladies and gentlemen. Already, we are zooming right now.
We are indeed, and well, Fire will find the first blood onto Cryptic, so Fire continues his spree, and unfortunately Cryptic will continue his as well. So 2v4 and Carolina with such little control over where this bomb is going to go down. It will be planted at B. It will be a case of a difficult retake because all of your players are already set up. Trying to get Bink out of Heli, for example, is going to be pretty much impossible.
Yeah, Kips makes his way up the zip. You get some great damage. Ooh, a little bit of a
does well
fake out there. So you do bring down Fire. It looks like Manny maybe has an idea. There's a player here at Heli. You fly on out. You find Darksided. Gunzy playing back towards the bomb. You have 20 seconds here. There you go. Manny in the 1v3. Can he make it happen? Kips, he's going to be able to push on forward. I'm not going to lie. I completely forgot Kips was still alive. It wasn't a 1v3. It was a 2v3. But it's a huge 1v2 from Manny that clutches the round for you. So 6 figures, Carolina. Ice in the veins, at least in round number 1.
I mean, it's a 2v4 as well
Sure.
overall, which is insane. Like, that is a generational breakdown for 5 Fears. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how you let that happen. You find, you know where one player is because he's killed Fire. So once it becomes that 2v3, it's like, right, well, we know where that one is arriving from over P1 side. You just get completely split apart. Yeah, 5 Fears are definitely going to be looking at each other right now and saying, how the hell did we just let that happen? 6F Carolina, they won't care. Again, they lost their first series 3-1. The one that they did win was the S&D. So this is where they're trying to build themselves into the series. And well, what a way to do it.
Manny, great shots here onto Bink. Bink will have to get back on down. Proto will be able to find Darksided here. Out towards the cart. You find another as well. Some great patience. Manny does get found. It puts you into the 2v2. Bomb has yet to go down, but it looks like it's in the process here at A. Bink and Fire trying to maybe make some moves on this outside. Do you play this together? I think you do. You'd love to slide on in as a unit. Fire, he's going to be the first one on in. Tip of the spear. Doesn't matter, though. Proto with the ace. I'm pretty certain. Okay, this is a new team on our hands here, Enigma. I don't know what happened in that hard point, but search and destroy, they're looking nice.
Yeah, I don't know where the confidence suddenly flows from. To be honest, it could just be the 2v4. You come out of map 1, you've been battered, quite frankly. It's not looked good for you. You come into map 2, that pendulum of momentum is certainly swinging in 5 Fears' favors. They win the 2 opening gunfights, and then 6F Carolina somehow managed to clutch it on up. And I think that has definitely raised the spirits. And I think you're right with Proto with the ace. Also, the RC in play. Great work from him.
5 Fears. After a really solid hard point, maybe feeling a little overzealous coming in here into Search and Destroy. Got to be able to play this one here together. You got 2 people hitting down here towards A. That's a great way to kickstart it open. Proto not allowed to run around anymore, but Kip's playing from Spiral. He's going to try and put some pressure in his Cryptic. Playing here on the outside. You've done a great job playing together as a team. It's Gunzy, last one alive. 6 figures Carolina. Some signs of life. Not only the hard point get to them, it's 3 in a row.
It is indeed. And to be honest, it all just comes back to one of those typical B bang outs. But with Cryptic, you have yourself a route looking from the outside in. It's one of those situations, if you do play the B site and you're trying to hit it really quickly, you must clear out everything internally and come out on top, because the team that have outside control have this glorious angle to open you up. And well, I guess finished all off by Cryptic, and what a confidence booster that will be for the young man who had a difficult game map 1. So right now, 5 Fears with no answer to Carolina S&D dominance.
Would love to see them set the pace themselves. Slow down the map here a little bit. Fire getting the immediate opening on a Cryptic. That's a great way to start it. Put them in the 4v3. Cause them to rethink some of these plays. Manny slides on out. He just barely misses the opportunity to gain some intel. But slowly but surely, you're going to make your way on back. And I like this for 5 Fears. You don't have to get antsy. You don't have to start moving on forward. Just kind of play for some info. You have the man advantage. You can see Manny slowly but surely making their way on in. He'll drop on down. Did anybody make that read? It looks like they have. Fire find a second in the round. Bink will get found by Proto here, but Kips in a battle on the backside with Fire. Can he manage to happen? No, that's actually Gunzy. My bad. Either way, though, still a huge kill. Well, Bomb is now in Narnia, and Proto, you got a tall task for you. Might have been an ace in the last round, but don't know if you'll be able to answer on back in the 1v3.
Well, the answer is a straight no. I gotta say, Fire does really well there. It feels like 6F really want to take control of both sides. It feels like that's how they want to make sure they lock down this B bomb. And Fire finds not only the first blood, but a second one later on. And then eventually this kill as well. Although you never know if COD, the scoreboard, is lying to you or not. So I'm pretty sure he only picks up 2. I got to give huge credit to Gunzy, though.
Yes.
Because just as Carolina starts to look like they're finding a way of opening up this 5 Fears defense, he drops all the way back off to the Sam turret, to back Lamar. And that ensures that 5 Fears are protected from that wrap. That ensures that his teammates can start to continue to work at the front and control the round.
That was kind of what we were looking for. Now it's already some aggressive moves forward. Trophy system gets invested here at bottom A. You want to clear your corners moving on into server, and they're going to be able to do it. There's a couple players already coming on in. Darkside has made his way on up, trying to hold this spiral drop. You put 40 seconds on the clock. You're going to force Carolina to start making some moves. Finally, some pace getting set from 5 Fears, but here comes the RCXD. Darkside will be able to find Kips, just kind of throwing his shoulders, checking anybody else trying to fly down these stairs. Not yet. Gunzy, though, catches one on the slide out. It's Proto. It's some great damage. Backs on up. Reload comes on in. Darkside, though, will turn back around, come back, help the teammate, and that is some fantastic teamwork from 5 Fears. All you needed was one on the board until you can start feeling the teamwork flow again. You stem the bleeding. You bring this one up 2-3.
Yeah, I think this is an attempted blind read from 6F Carolina. In the previous attack round for 5 Fears, they went for an A bang out, very much so lost. So I think that Carolina are expecting that strategy to change. 5 Fears hold true to their guns and false send it again. Instead, this time, instead of resistance, they get basically the bomb site for free, keep all their numbers up, and that is a tough site to retake, and Carolina find out just how much so.
5 Fears have an opportunity to tie it up here. They've finally entered the game. They've woken on up, but Kips finds a huge first blood into the round on Darkside down here at the bottom of A. But Gunzy, gotta be kind of looking. Anybody want to throw a shoulder? Anybody want to hop on up? Peek a little bit of a head out. Give me the info. Doesn't look like it. Bink, though, brings down Kips and Fire, playing from this backside. You're going to try and maybe get through top grandmas. See if anybody is around here. Do you try and go for the drop? No. Join up with the teammates. Fly out here towards the plat. See if you can find anybody. Slowly but surely, you drop on down. The shots come on through. You get some tags onto Manny. You get the flick as a Bink finds 2 from the other side. Okay, 5 Fears. It was looking like the 6-figure Carolina squad was just the S&D dominance. But I don't know, man. I'm seeing a breakdown happen in front of our eyes.
Yeah, 3 up to 3 apiece is what Carolina are looking at. They might have taken the pendulum of momentum back into their hands, but they've once really given it up now. Great work by Bink. Controls that big door entrance and just make sure he cuts down players as and when they arrive. But I gotta give credit to Fire in his reposition. He's considering playing out through grandmas. He's considering setting up a pinch. But I think he reads that if there's nothing troubling me here, they're waiting at the bottom of Zip. So decides instead to double hit from the front, give those extra numbers advantage, and that then sets off the flurry of kills that allow them to retake the site. Great stuff from him.
It's also the snap too, right? I mean, he gets in those first shots on the first player, but it just moves on the player that slides on out. Some really good technical prowess coming out from Fire to make that happen. So we've tied it on up now, 3-3. It's already a first blood yet again for 5 Fears, thanks to Bink. But Proto might have just hit a timing. Do you make this read? No, you don't. The positioning from Bink will cut you on down. Cryptic makes this read that it's going to be a play over towards B. You hit this timing correctly, you might be able to get some, but it's not going to be enough. Gunzy with bomb slides on out. As 5 Fears, they'll hit that one in a 2v1 and bring you on down. The reads right now coming out of 5 Fears, I feel like, is where we are seeing the difference between these two teams.
Yeah, there's an interesting decision there as well for them to change it up this time. After 2 rounds hitting out at A, one where they were unsuccessful, then one where they really were. They recognize off the back of the last one, okay, we were very successful here. Carolina know that they're going to have to send bodies. What we can do instead is push our way on over to B because there's going to be less numbers here to contest us. And by the time they realize it's going to be far too late, and that's certainly the situation there, Carolina unable to answer back. 4 rounds in a row for 5 Fears. Carolina must stem the bleeding.
Bink really been the player to come alive in these last couple of rounds. would like to continue some of that until you get found out in the mid and Cryptic brings down Darkside. So 5 fears. You've been feeling good for these 4 rounds in a row. Six Figures Carolina. They won't let it happen too much as Manny slides on out, finds fire. It's Gunzy in the 1v4. That's a great way to start it, getting the opening onto Proto. Bomb starting to go down at A, but Gunzy, you might be able to hit a timing here. It's all 3 members. The shots come on out. That might be your undoing. It is. They immediately turn all of their sights towards Spiral. And I had a little bit of signs to life. There's a little glimmer of hope for me that the 1v4 was about to occur, but some great positioning from Six Figures Carolina. Make sure that that is not possible.
Yeah, essentially body stack and just basically play around each other, knowing that there's no way in hell he can out-trade all of us. Then again, that being said, we did watch a 2v4 happen in literally round 1.
True.
So never count
True.
your chickens, but Carolina needed that round. I think if you
Yes.
go 5-3 down, we are done here. We now tie things back up. Yes, it's been a bad passage, but you're still tied up with an opportunity to take this map and get yourself on the board.
Game of momentum, for sure. It was 3 rounds into the side of Six Figures. 3 rounds back to 5 fears. They get 1 more, and, well, you answer back with your own 4th. Bink, though, yet again, another first blood into the round onto Manny. It's these first bloods that they're doing a great job of being able to convert off of. Can they make it happen again? Put us on map point. A little bit of patience coming out of 5 fears right now.
I don't mind it. Slow things down. See if Carolina are going to give you any free picks. The one thing I will say, Proto very isolated. If they decide to hit B with this bomb, he's in big trouble. He will be in arches, rings off a couple of bullets. But what does that do to 5 fears? How do they read this?
You're going to see Cryptic launch in that stun. A stun answered on back. You try and hit a little bit of a ricochet there with the nade, but it's a fast movement back out towards A. It's a little bit too late of a read, and now you got Proto all alone on this top side. You play your life beautifully. Bomb will go down. Proto now in the 1v4. We watched a 2v4 happen. A 1v4 will be something special. But it looks like Darkside going to be able to make that read. And you can see even the teammate surges on forward to just ensure that nothing can happen. 5-4, map point. 5 fears. Even after Six Figures Carolina answer on back, they show that they are here to play.
Yeah, big fan of how 5 fears slowed it down there. They get that first blood, and instead of overextending blind into different sites and hoping for the best, they just kind of wait to see what Carolina will do. Once you get those bullets ringing out, honestly, I actually think that 5 fears expect there to be more bodies over by B, but it's the reposition through mid to drop in through big door that catches Carolina out and gives them 1 more round until taking this away.
Well, Six Figures Carolina, they're going to try and up the pace a little bit. Some quick movements coming over here on the outside of Grandma's. Kips is going to be the one to try and clear out the back here. Desperate times call for desperate measures is what we say. So it's going to be a fast plant at B. You're going to see all the arrows turn around, but look who's in the back. It's Gunzy. Trying to make sure that nobody's going to be able to slip on through. The rest of the teammates coming on in, but Proto, the patience in hand. Bink will be able to open it up in onto Kips with a well-timed grenade. Proto, you might have just hit the timing, though. You fly on forward, you get read by fire. Cryptic, though, you find the one heli, you find another Manny. There's 1, there's 2. It's Bink yet again, keeping it alive. Does not let the breakdown happen. The shots fire. They land 6-4 for 5 fears.
Honestly, Bink goes nuclear at that end round. However, I think Fire is the one that makes a big kill happen just when his squad needed it. We said there, I can't remember if it was Proto or Manny, but they get into arches. They get into that position there where they can, you know, split this entire defense apart. If they pick up that kill on Fire, that then sets up a pinch situation, or at least buys a lot of time. You can just stay alive, especially with an SMG, play that figure 8 route around the arches and make it a living nightmare for you to be found. And eventually that pushes the attacking team in a situation where they've got to plant in a risky situation or try and force their way into fights. And that never goes well. But it's the fact that Fire reads where that's coming in from. Just, you know, sometimes it's a little bit too quiet out there. Your intuition suggests that you need to check over your back, and he does a wonderful job there of finding that kill that opens up everything to take that final round away. Wonderful stuff.
No, that was a huge play. But dude, MVP of that series gotta be Bink for me. I believe ends the
Yes.
series, or the map rather, in a 12-6. So a 2.0 coming out in the S&D so many times, finding the first blood or being the last one alive, setting themselves up in that opportunity to be able to catch the player that's really trying to make that hero play, getting cut down at the hands of Bink every single time. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some of these stats from that round as we come on in. So yeah, 12-6 for Bink there. 8 non-traded kills of those 12. Absolutely insane. You also have Fire with the 8-5. And of his 8, 7 also non-traded that are there. But it's those 3 first bloods from Bink rather, that actually, I feel like, tells the tale of what happened in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can confirm to you, it was 7-3 in terms of first bloods to 5 fears. What I will say is initially 5 fears were not converting at all on that first blood.
No.
And that was, I mean, we literally had a 2v4 come off in the first round. So yeah, Carolina, we're making 5 fears work for it, but they figured a couple of things out. One of the big ones was 5 fears playing twice around that big A bang out strategy. I think that threw a couple of spanners into the works for Carolina, because you had this moment where Carolina were extending away. They were up 3-0, probably feeling really good about things. And then they're like, right, we've got this strategy completely countered. But when 5 fears execute on that exact same strategy, Carolina are kind of like, wait, well, we just shut this down. Why would you do this? And I think that puts them a little bit on tenterhooks. But also, Carolina really wanted to play out by that boat side. They wanted to lock it down, make sure they had control over Big Door. And there was a certain point through the map where it just swung in favor of 5 fears every time. They always had control over it. And that then made sure that bottom bomb site was never really something that Carolina could comfortably control. That, for me, an important difference maker, comes back to Fire. And then also, of course, Bink, who had himself one hell of a map.
And another thing I want to call out here, I love that you bring up the difference in first bloods being 7-4. Well, the thing is that, yes, you got 4 first bloods if you are 6 figures Carolina. 3 of those 4 are on Darksided, right? You are only getting them on one guy who is just trying to obviously hit some sort of route, get some sort of timing. Not a great map for Darkside by any means. You're 6-6 at 1.0, only 449 damage. Well, kind of what goes to tell me is that, like, you're probably just gaining info. So sure, you countered one guy, but I don't think it really matters when the rest of you are just getting picked on off, right? So kind of goes back to that thing you kept saying. You're not really able to convert on some of those first bloods that you were able to make happen. Just something interesting that we pull from the stats there, the tea leaves, as I like to say, that are laid out before us. But man, I mean, that was just a great game of Search and Destroy. Those are the games that we love to see, where we have one team comes out swinging. It's 6 figures Carolina. They go up 3-0. We think this is a brand new team, right? After coming out of that hard point, it wasn't, they didn't get decimated, but still, you got really outplayed in that hard point on Hacienda. Yeah. So we see them come in 3-0. I'm thinking, wow, this is a team that loves using Search and Destroy as sort of, the momentum killer for a team like this. But then all of a sudden, 5 fears. It's 4 in a row from them, and then it's just basically answering on back and forth until 5 fears. They just basically take 2 rounds in a row to end the map and end the map in a basically super quick fashion. For what it's worth, they didn't even have to really work hard, I feel like, in those last 2 rounds in order to clinch this one.
Yeah, I think Bink takes over in the end, ends on a 4 spree. So what? Before that, he was 8-6. So had himself still a decent map. But I think, yeah, towards the end, he just kind of went, all right, I'm ready to call game on this. But yeah, I mean, I go back to like the great AR work from Bink, from Fire. You're right when it comes to Darkside being the only player that you really find first bloods on there. If you are Carolina, it's a difficult situation for him if he's trying to play out info. It's a horrible job. No one really wants it. That's why we call BZ one of the best players in the world. He plays that awful role and still looks ridiculous while doing it. But yeah, he's trying to, get on forward. And you're right, Carolina only really had an answer for him. But like Darkside, a lot of the time, was trying to get aggressive through that boat side, for example, shut down by players watching on over it. And so he gets that support coming in through from Fire. It opens up that entire side of the map, lets you do so much more. I think one of the things for 5 fears that I didn't really see out of Carolina, 5 fears, very good at handling tempo.
Yes.
Had moments where they would slow things down, play patiently. When they needed to, they'd explode and pick it back up. They had that strategy where they would hit out A. Twice they did that extremely aggressively. In the next offensive round that they come on out, they get 1 first blood and then just wait for about 30 seconds. Nobody move find out what Carolina are going to do next. And I think when that, you know, you're never letting your opponent get into any sort of rhythm or routine or any sort of like picking up on traits that certain players do. That's not something that comes on through for Carolina at any point, and it just makes it very difficult to shut them down.
No, it's a great call out, man. I mean, it's kind of what we were talking about. It's one thing I'm always looking at with these teams, right? Who's in the driver's seat? Who's setting the pace of some of these games? And for those first 3 rounds, yeah, man, it was Carolina all the way. But the second we get into that 4th round, I think that's where Five Fears really kind of figures out, okay, this is what they like to do. These are the routes they like to hit. This is where they want to play. Okay, we know how to hold this. We know how to be able to put this back in our favor, and they make it on happen. So currently 2 up right now for Five Fears over Six Figures Carolina, getting ready to head on into the control, and it is a Hacienda control. Now, this is a map that I think, you know, obviously we saw how the Hacienda hardpoint went. Definitely some strong reads. Control does play a little bit different when it comes as far as respawns go. I'm kind of, what do we get bans? Carolina banned Vault, and Five Fears, they pick Hacienda. Okay, great, cool. So not exactly surprised to see that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this pick and ban speaks more into Five Fears feeling comfortable on their defense rather than their offense, because the highest offense percentage control map is Protocol. So the fact that they were like, okay, we don't want that, we want Hassi, says to me that they feel much happier there. Vault being the strongest one on defense, these numbers are kind of tied into the CDL rather than challenger level, but you know, there's a lot of replication there. For Vault, that is the strongest defensive control typically. So the fact that we get that ban says to me that what you've got here from Carolina is they're wanting to try and have an offensive kind of map so they can upset here, kind of really start to pop off if possible. But well, Hacienda, it is one that favors the defensive teams, so it's all about locking in nice and early if you are Five Fears. Looking at fire again, looking at Bink, use those ARs, shut down these long lanes.
Well, let's go ahead. We're gonna come over here for a hot second because we are into game, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. It is a Hacienda control to kick us on out. And already, it's gonna be Five Fears on that first attack. Darkside made your way on into the point. Starting to get some of this early progress. First tick done. Immediately off the rip. You'll have some eliminations go back your way, but some solid progress here in the first wave.
Yeah, you'll take that. Get yourself that first tick on through. Again, it's so hard to win offensive rounds on Hacienda. Typically 1 in 3. And it's all about that A side being very difficult to get the ticks in on. It's so exposed. You've got to get so much map presence, so much map control. Typically, you're looking to get a hold of that B, and Carolina have managed to bully Five Fears away from Rock, and are sending them packing all the way back towards lobby. However, Five Fears have got 3 players together and try to bang this out.
That's a huge first one from Kips. You don't manage to convert that into the second. You've already done your job. Cryptic wants to play up here towards the top. You get a little bit of a stun check. Nade goes on out. Gunsy doesn't check to the left. You turn around. The teammates are on in, but Proto is here. Manny will slide on forward. That's going to be 4 dead. You send him back to the spawn, and already you only get to move forward a little bit before Manny is turning his gun towards your sights. So 10 seconds left on the clock here for Five Fears to make something on happen. You do have Fire, who's made his way on through. Huge win. Starting to get that second tick. I'd love to see the stack start coming on over, but you have Gunsy. He's made his way on over to B.
Gonna need that support coming in through Bink. Fire here, trying to be a nuisance in the spawn. If he'd held that a little bit longer, he catches Proto, but he does not get the timing. He's not blessed by the COD gods. Bink will get on for just a moment. Is this another time where he explodes in this series? He's not gonna have any support. He's surrounded by the red arrows.
Oh my God!
Tick through somehow, but that has been an incredible round from 6F Carolina. And what I will say, I go right back to the start. I think 6F do a great job of pushing through Rock. They kill pretty much everything in front of them, but one of the important things for the team is they have one player play out through well side, and he gets all the way up to double fences. So that tells Carolina exactly what's in front of them. A lot of players trying to push through Lambo, and they mop all of it up, keeping that Five Fear squad as far away from that B site as possible. Beautiful work to kick us off.
I thought they had kind of had an opportunity for 5 years. You saw 3 members all spawn over towards Rock. They start making their way in, and Cryptic just pops a 2 and just immediately stops the last second push. Really great stuff. But you're on the other side now. If you are Six Figures Carolina and it's already 2 kills going your way, that's going to let you push on forward, gain some space here on the map. And I like this positioning from Pro to cut these people off of the spawn. You get red, though. You're taking on out. Have to back on up here. And okay, 5 Fears. Answering on back, doing a great job and not letting Six Figures Carolina be able to get their positioning.
The dark side goes huge, by the way. Finds a 2-piece over here at B. Just allows his teammates to reinforce the situation. Gives them an opportunity to push on out. And Carolina have to reassess how to get control of this map. It's trying to play the trade situation and doing a good job of it. The thing is with A, you never want to dive it if you're up as one player. It's just such an exposed situation. So you've got to force B or get yourself very far forward. And right now, 5 Fears just not giving them anything clean. It's a pinstripe feed at best.
Man, he's been able to get onto A. You're kind of flexing on and off. Time is ticking. No segments on the board just yet. You do have a 3-life lead if you are 6F Carolina, but if you're not careful, 5 Fears, they'll bring that one back on in. You don't really have times to kind of sit here and spot check this. You do get onto B. Okay, first tick, looking to come on through. Kips from top plat. Absolutely raining terror from above. You slide on out, but you get information on 2. Proto going to go ahead. Go into the prone. You have the trophy system to help protect. Second tick coming on through, but 2 of your team members cut on down. You got to make something happen on here. It's not going to be enough. 20 seconds will tick on down, but you've managed to grab 3 ticks this round. That will put you ahead if we do get to that round 5.
Kips having himself a map. We're going to go back and talk about all the work he just put in over a B and turns and burns fire. Headshot lights him up. Wouldn't believe that this kid's an elite rookie. First ever time at this level. Does not look out of sorts as he continues to push on to A. Gets coverage in from the teammate as well. So this might give you an opportunity for a 4th tick. Remember, you only need 2 to tie. You currently have 3. Fire will clear and does enough to stop a 4th tick coming on through. Kips, massive moment. You said it yourself. You were kind of sitting there, 0 ticks on the board. You don't have time to really wait. Well, Kips, thankfully, although he invests a lot of time and makes it a bit nervy, he invests it correctly, finds a whole bunch of kills, gives his teammates all the information in the world, telling them that they can push on to B because these reinforcements are at 10. Great stuff from him. Again, this is the first time he's ever stepped up into the elite and looks like he deserves to be here. 13-7.
I mean, that's kind of why you bring up some of these young guns, right? It's for moments like that when the lights shine bright, they answer the call. For right now, Six Figures Carolina, that's the type of plays you need. So back on over towards offense if you are 5 Fears. So currently 1-1, tied on in here. If you win that defense, you'd love to take this offense.
Darkside just staying alive. Bink. I was about to say you just nearly missed Kips sliding on through. Kips not checking his corners. Now B's undoing. Although Proto from the top rope with the RKO. Jesus Christ, Bink takes everything. But it's pinstripe feed that will benefit, well, 5 Fears for a moment as they were the team on the point. Guns over there to trade. So another tick comes on through. That will tie us all back up. The thing is here, as Gunzy has so much space, he can just stand here on B all damn day. There's nothing from Carolina to answer this.
Yeah, they're finally starting to make their way on over, but yeah, just keep alive. You finally get that second tick on in, so you do get cut on down, but you've done the job. You've done the work. You've created a lot of pressure over towards this B side, so that's going to let 5 Fears have a little bit of opportunity. Do you just try and make a play over towards this B, get that extra minute on the clock, or do you even start trying to make your way on into A? Kips here, top window, has a solid idea, once down on it, but it's Proto from behind. Hits a nasty little route thanks to Kips in that top window. No idea that he's coming on through. He's able to find them, send them all back to spawn. Trades will be on through, but 5 Fears. A little bit of a desperation effort here with 30 seconds left.
Darkside does well to stay alive in that moment. Was down 6 HP. Fire here for 1, but won't get it. Manny picks it up. Gunzy gets aggressive. He's not had himself too much of a map, but did a lot of the objective work over by B that his teammate is now trying to finish off. But Darkside could do with a little bit of support. He's going to be surrounded. Red arrow starts to turn towards him. Big gunfight. that you
Huge.
come out on top of and could see this through to get the extra minute.
Only a couple of moments left. There you go. Point B secured. Another minute on the clock here. 16 will play 12. But Gunzy is going to do his best to answer it on back. Okay, that's 3 dead. If you are 6F Carolina, almost 4 if Gunzy can manage to win that. But it's just a little bit off the mark. Bink has set himself up here in the corner, but you get red. You can see the arrow starting to fly on forward into a position. Can you get some of this cutoff? Bink will spawn close here at P2 and start making his way on up the driveway. But for right now, you have to figure out how you cut through some of the forces of Six Figures Carolina.
And kills like that from Gunzy will really help. 3 dead in the feed. It's just Manny to try and hold off the onslaught. You've also dragged it back to just a 2 life difference. What can Manny do in this moment? You get caught, you get spotted. Fire's going to be aggressive in secret. Manny's doing really well to just stay alive, not making it clean, and therefore you can't set up, and somehow comes out on top as well. Beautiful work from him. Just as 5 Fears look to get a hold of things, you will get progress at A, but it could have been so much more if not for that play.
Yeah, a lot of time burned there from Manny. A beautiful job to bring Fire out of the fight, force him to take that 1v1, but unfortunately Bink is on the other side, kind of opening it on up, but we're down to the final 20 seconds here. You need a flurry of kills and then just stack this point to secure it. Fire from the top. You find Cryptic. That's a huge one. Immediately makes his way onto the point. Do you make the read onto the right? The pre-fires are in. You back on up into the corner. You set up the crossfire with Darkside. He's actually going to be able to find Kips. The members from Six Figures Carolina, they're surging on in. Is going to be enough. They do. It's the double read on either side that will net them the win. Okay. 5 Fears doing a great job of keeping it mixy, but Six Figures Carolina, they're coming online.
Yeah, it felt like we saw a couple of different players come online through that one. Felt like Gunzy, started off really slow. I think he was like 8 and 16 at one point.
Yeah.
But started to find out that he could be impactful by being a bit ratty. It works well in control, especially when you're trying to break these defensive holds. He just tucks himself off in corners, picks little ones up in the back. You are still 10 and 19, so it hasn't been your best map, but I feel like objectively, impact-wise, he's having himself a solid round there. But for Carolina, Manny, absolutely massive. Not only 18 and 13, but his fight there against Fire changes the whole context of that round.
A pivotal point in being able to take that one on home. Kips is going to try and get a little bit of aggressive jumping up into the window, but we'll get cut down immediately. Just kind of trades going on through. You find 2 here at the top. That's a huge win from Bink to cut you on through. Kips gonna be the last one alive. Can you manage to find another? You don't check it. You want to make sure you can hold this top window side. You want all of this control if possible. You haven't really found anybody yet. Do you find Bink? Some great shots coming on through. You almost get traded on out though. Gunzy gonna wait a little bit as Bink slides on out. We'll be able to bring down Kips. You've now gained control of this top window, and Fire continuing to sit here trying to find these lobby stairs.
Gunzy with 2, Gunzy with 3, Gunzy with all 4. I said he wasn't having a great game. He answers me back with an explosive moment here. Top Hacienda to bully Carolina back into their spawn. What a moment to pop off.
Now you're just sitting here. You're holding the lobby. You find Kips on the opening. That's exactly the type of kill you want. A little bit of a shoulder, but you've given information on where 2 are. Fire here in the top window. Answers down onto Cryptic. 8 seconds on the clock. You've made your way on into B. All you have to do is just find a couple of these eliminations. You're feeling good. A slide on forward. The trades come on through. Fire finds Proto. Bink rips Manny off the point, but it's some time at A. Fire's over here. You'd love to be able to rip these players on out. Trades coming on through. Bink makes it happen. 3 seconds remaining. You have to jump on the point. If you are Six Figures Carolina, you can't make it happen. 5 Fears. They answer on back off of a huge play from Gunzy. They secure us and push us to around number 5.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit and talk about the Gunzy play all day, but quite frankly, that's just technical skill popping off in the right moments. I will credit Fire there towards the end. I think he does a great job. He spots that you've got this situation where the 6F Carolina players get onto that A zone, and so many people would get tunnel vision, rush to that to try and clear it out. He doesn't. What he does is he let his teammates do that. He knows he's in secret, and in lobby, he can control the reinforcements coming in. He prioritizes that situation, trusts his teammates to clear the point. They do that, and he also has all that information to say, look, there's nothing arriving from here. You can deal with this problem by yourselves. Carolina on the offense, because Ticks were so well dominated by Five Fears. Five Fears, they see this round out, they take the series 3-0.
You love to be on defense if you are Five Fears. It's the best time you've looked here in the control. Your offense, it's been a little bit shaky at times, but your defense has been rock solid. You're starting to see why here. You're wasting a lot of time and making them go for some of these fights. As Manny, he finds one, flies on forward. Do you manage to bring down Fire? No. And Fire, he'll be able to get out there. Rechows and Cryptic makes you pay for it. So you are kind of finding yourself more towards that B side. Number 4, Darkside, he's been able to slip on through. He might be making a play here up towards the top, trying to hold that lobby. Can you gain the information? Bink will be able to bring down Cryptic. Fire finds Proto. That's 2 dead in the feed. It stops the push right now for Carolina. And Kips not be able to make anything. The Five Fears Enigma. They're giving you nightmares right now.
They are indeed. And Carolina, they've come a long way for this one to be over so soon. Fire's going to hold on to Wine for a moment. He can check A at his leisure. Won't have much in the way of support. So as Carolina players approach B, it's all about the potential retake. But Fire will find the first. This will now set the team up to pinch at B. This collapse will be everything that Carolina have to deal with to stay in this tie.
Oh, Gunsy, he had the timing, but he does get found on out. You hear the shots come on through. Throwing a shoulder, trying to regen that HP, but it's not going to be enough. Bink on the backside. He'll get found out. Fire over the top, though. Jackal PDW in hand. You're able to bring them on down. But for right now, Carolina, they're doing a great job. You get the trophy systems on down as well. It's all 4 members spawning in the back here, trying to make their way on through. Kips makes the read on the hop-up, but it's going to be Darkside with a huge 2-piece. Proto from the back answers with a 2-piece of his own, though. You have to get in on the point here. You have to make your stand. Strider in hand. Is it going to be enough? It's not, but it's enough time to get your teammates back on in. Manny finds himself here onto A. The shots are ringing out. Gunsy on down. Brink brings you on through, but it is just Hailmakers getting sent back and forth there. It's just not going to be enough at the end of the day. It gets mixy. It gets a little topsy-turvy, but Five Fears, they answer it on when it matters.
Final round there. A couple of individuals really try and take control of the situation. Darkside with a huge play over at that B zone in order to try to break that. It hits the outside route. You jump out of the map. You got limited time to get back in. He pulls it off beautifully. But then Manny, to be fair, answers back, finds his own 2-piece and stays alive long enough on that B point to allow his teammates to go and hit A and keep it going for just a little bit longer. Unfortunately, his heroics will amount to nothing as Five Fears come out on top here 3-0. Honestly, kind of difficult for me to kind of go back and pick an MVP of the series. I think that there's 2 that really stand out. I think that Fire had himself 3 great maps all the way through. Very impactful, very effective, very intelligent decisions. This is part of, you know, again, I go back to like where his career has been. Started off Paris Legion. And there was, you know, well, he didn't start off at Paris Legion, he just walk into the CDL, but obviously has that period of time, gets himself onto Paris Legion. And I think a lot of people at that point kind of ruled him out. And it's taken a lot for him to come back from that moment, build himself up into this more mature player. We're seeing moments of him, especially this year, where he's starting to look the real deal. And I go back to, like, this guy has got really high KDs throughout a lot of the year, especially S2 Elite, highest NA player. But there's a lot of decision making in there that he does, a lot of taking control of situations. For example, the search and destroy. His team are down 3-0, and he recognizes, well, the opposing team are fighting through boat. It's giving us no presence over that side of the map, so I'm going to go and be a part of the solution. And it's stuff like that that makes me think, all right, maybe, you know, he really has stepped his game up to a huge level. It's not just, you know, stat whoring, putting things up on a board that make him look pretty. He's being an impactful part for the team. I think the other players, Bink, I think, you know, you and me went through a lot of different moments about him popping off the end of the S&D, for example, but I think he's an incredible flex. The amount of times that I saw him, you know, and the traditional flex, a player that can run an AR one hill, change over to an SMG the next. They're so rare these days. They're absolute gold dust if they can do it properly. And it felt like that he was the guy to kind of be a big part of dictating how his team could break apart hills, When they needed an SMG up close, he threw it on. When he needed an AR to control the lanes, he helped fire out with that situation. So for me, those two very, very impressive in this 3-0 victory.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of the beautiful part of Five Fears, right? I mean, yes, while Fire and Bink did a lot of work, Gunzy and Darkside, they had some huge moments of their own, right? We saw that Gunzy 3-piece earlier on in that control that really just wowed us. And it felt like that was when Five Fears started leaning on into it. And they said, wait, okay, we can actually clutch this one on out. It's A-okay. Are we able to make it on happen? And Darkside, through a couple of that hard point, was going absolutely crazy. The S&D, stat-wise, maybe not the best showing, but I feel like was probably doing what the team needed at that moment, right? Which was trying to be that player to surge on forward, trying to be able to grab that info. Just unfortunately for him, he was 3 of the 4 first bloods in that S&D, but now you come on here into the control, you're already looking pretty solid as well. Almost most damage on the team in that control, which should probably tell you enough. Which, speaking of which, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some of the stats from that game that we have going on. Actually, let's go to this one. We haven't used this other one too much today. It's a better view when we're looking at stats as we come on through. But
I'm a fan.
I mean, just kind of crazy. I mean, Gunzy even ends at 18-26. I believe at one point was 10-19. I'm pretty sure. So yeah. You go up 7, but you find 8 more off of the back of it. You'll love to see that kind of getting back on into the mix, but yeah, it's a lot of just fire coming on through, both literally the player fire and figuratively of the team.
No, yeah, I mean, I put up a really impressive performance, 3.5k damage, nearly 17 non-traded kills, always important when we're talking about an AR and how impactful that they can be. So, and 10 assists. I feel like every map here, he's had double-digit assists somehow, even in the S&D, I think he put up 12. So he's had himself an impressive performance here. Really strong stuff. I gotta say, probably a player that I didn't talk enough about, Darkside puts up 8 in terms of objective kills as well, very much so being active around important parts of the map, including 2 big ones in that round 5 there. He manages to dive onto the point, uses the outside route that I mentioned to break that open and ensure that his team can see the map out from there. So really good stuff. I will say, looking over the other side of things, I think you've got yourself a couple of gems here. I don't think it was Kips's best map, but I think some really great heads-up moments from a young man who is stepping into an elite for the first time. Does not look out of place. I think for Manny, Proda, Cryptic, this is that trio that have been together for so long. They're trying to find their right 4th piece. I don't feel like you're too far away. I think this is a really good team to be coming up against at this stage. And I think you're, I mean, when we talk about the hard point, they got off to a really slow start. They did drag it back to a much more contested series. I'm seeing people tweet on the timeline, a close hard point. You and me didn't feel that way because we saw how it started, but it looked very respectable on the scoreline. If they get off to a better start, then sure. In the S&D, they went up 3-0. So, there's plenty to this team. It's just about a bit of ice. It's just about ensuring that you're not a super streaky team, that in your good moments, you're good. In your bad moments, your floor is still high enough to ensure that you are contesting. That is where they've got to kind of fix up a couple of things. And there will be a hell of a team.
I definitely agree there, my friend. And wow, what a series. 2 3-0s today that we saw.
Light work.
Yeah, which didn't feel like 2 3-0s. I'll be very, maybe it was like the 40 minutes of waiting in between, but it didn't. Sorry, that wasn't meant to be bad. It was just the reality. I mean, we kickstarted the day with Falcons Academy versus Luxury Exotic, where Falcons Academy just looked absolutely great. Some fantastic, moments by basically every single member on that team throughout that series. A 3-0 to market, and then we come on through with the 6F Carolina taking on 5 Fears. And yeah, I really thought we were maybe going to see this rewind hardpoint in map number 4 when it's a 3-0 start from the 6F Carolina, but really good job from 5 Fears to have ice in the veins in the S&D. We come on into control. They're able to lock it on in after looking a little bit shaky at the start. Got to be honest with you, but they lock it on in. Take this one in the round 5 to make this a 3-0 as well. So a great start to the day for both of these teams. Reminder, folks, this is the group stage. So you are just kind of trying to play on through week over week to get yourself a good spot when you're coming out of the group stage. Obviously, make it out of the group stage is number 1, but then, also feel like you're in a good spot when you're able to come on out of it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we start to look ahead already at some of the games that have gone on through. At the end of the day, you've played 2 games. Like, that is a lot of your matches that you will get in group stages. So it's tough. You end up in this situation where if you're starting the day 0-2, I mean, you're looking ahead, you've got, all right, well, I got like not a lot of games left to fix this situation. So I mean, I really feel for a couple of the squads here. We, of course, 16s per group, so you can't play yourself either. Yep. So you've got 3 left. So it's a hard place to be in right now. I will say, we're looking at, I'm trying to find my NA Elite tab just to remind me of who exactly is in which groups. North America Elite Stage 3. There we go. Okay, so for 6F Carolina, we know they lost to Cabal. They lost to 5 Fears. I gotta say, my friend, it does not get much easier from here. I thought the Group B might be like the group of death. Maybe it's Group A, actually. Omit, Royal Spartans, and Stallions still to go. So it's tough. Group for sure for the 6F Carolina team, but if there is a place where you're going to get better and improve, I mean, Kip's coming in, never played an elite before. You've got this trio that are trying to figure out if you're contesting in this group, if you somehow squeeze through into playoffs, I think you should be able to hold your head very high.
No, I definitely agree with that sentiment. But man, it's been a day. First watch party for the B stream in the book. I feel like it went. I feel like it went pretty well, all things considered. No real technical issues or hiccups, minus us being hot mic'd at the start, which we fixed very quickly, and that's what matters. But it was really fun to be here all day long with you guys. So we're gonna be trying to do these obviously every single week for these matches that are going on. NA today, maybe NA tomorrow, just because of timing, things. But obviously, we would like to include EU to these broadcasts as well. So just got to figure out some of the timing stuff alongside there. But best way to know about that is, of course, to keep in touch with both of us. You can find us, both of our names right there, at DandroCast, at EnigmaAMC. Go ahead, go follow us. Also, before we go, I want to give a huge thank you to, obviously, everybody at Activision and Esports Engine for helping, asking us to do this, but also giving us some great technical tools to be able to do it as well. And I'm going to do a little self-shilling here. If you guys wouldn't mind, if you're new here, please go ahead, please subscribe. We're trying to hit that 100 subscriber mark so that way we can unlock more features of the live. Also, not have our channel ID be some random ass string, so that way we can actually be, our own selves that are here. So like, comment, and subscribe like every YouTuber says. But man, great first day. Any final closing thoughts from you?
No, enjoyed the hell out of it. Hopefully I will get over this sickness so that I'm not constantly coughing and choking on my words. Honestly, it'd be nice, right? Like, Jesus, I mean, I eat well, I exercise regularly, drink lots of water, and enjoy some time out in the garden in the sunshine. I don't like, brother, having a 7-month-old child, they bring back all sorts of disgusting germs. So I have genuinely been unwell since pretty much the start of February, but hopefully back to full strength soon so that we can continue to enjoy this. And yeah, I guess one of the other things is, if there's anything that people want to see, do suggest. Yes. We have a whole list of different things that we've kind of come together. We're like, okay, over time, we'll try and inject all these different ideas. Again, turning this into a watch party where we can, yes, cast the games fully so that the players are getting the coverage that they are earning of having been in the elite, but also, during the downtime, that 40-minute spell where me and Dan managed to pull a couple of things together out of our ass today. Instead, what we can do is have a couple of nice little segments where we can run through things. And if there's anything that you guys think we could do, then please do let us know.
Would love to see that. Anyway, for now, I'm going to send you guys all on over to the A stream. Definitely go on over and check it. It's Call of Duty Challengers on YouTube. Definitely go see it. Right now, Omit Brooklyn is potentially about the 3-0 lore gaming, which is insane. So definitely go take a look at that. A great game going on through. But that's all we got for you for this week's B Stream Watch Party. We'll see all of you literally tomorrow, actually, for another day of Call of Duty Challengers Elite Caesar Series 3. Not Caesars. My mind is on salad. Anyway, see you later, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.